Chapter 1688. Yes, yes. Qin Feiyang nodded, glanced at the blood-colored altar, and shook his head. No, no. Are you playing with me? The fire dragon was furious. No, no, you're so powerful, so majestic, how would I dare to play with you? Qin Feiyang grinned. Then quickly destroy it. The fire dragon roared. Qin Feiyang shook his head and said, can't destroy it, can't destroy it. Bastard, you're courting death. The fire dragon was furious, a monstrous murderous aura rushed out of his body, and pounced on Qin Feiyang. Qin Feiyang immediately used the Xing character art, turned around, and fled. Sure enough, you're playing with this sovereign. Today, even if you can go to heaven or hell, this sovereign will kill you. All beasts listen to my order, kill Qin Feiyang for this sovereign. The fire dragon roared. Roar. In the mountains below, a loud beast roar suddenly sounded. Following closely, fierce beasts and birds flew out from the forest. As big as a mountain, as small as a boulder. There were hundreds of them, and each beast exuded an extremely terrifying divine power. Qin Feiyang's eyes widened, his face full of horror. Surrounded by beasts in all directions, almost all the divine beasts in the entire Dragon Soul mountain range appeared. Hundreds of divine powers intertwined together like a torrent roaring in all directions, shaking heaven and earth. If I can control so many divine beasts, then who in the world will dare to compete with me? Qin Feiyang looked at this scene and couldn't help but be fascinated. Kill him for this sovereign. The fire dragon roared. Boom! Divine power surged, covering the sky and earth. More than 100 divine beasts rushed toward Qin Feiyang. The terrifying scene was soul-stirring. Stop! But at this moment, a deafening voice sounded. The fire dragon raised his eyebrows, looked up, and saw the fire python appear out of thin air. The fire dragon's eyes suddenly flashed with a cold light. You're out already? Qin Feiyang was stunned. The ferocious beasts stopped and looked at the fire python with suspicion. The fire python glanced at the other beasts, then looked at the fire dragon and said, Lord Beast Deity orders you to go to the 3rd level immediately to see it. There must be no delay. The fire dragon's pupils shrank. Hurry up and go. The fire python shouted. The fire dragon asked, Lord Beast God didn't come out with you? Nonsense, if Milord came out with us, why would he need you to go to the 3rd level? What is it? Don't tell me you still want to disobey His Excellency's orders? The fire python said angrily. The fire dragon's eyes trembled. He looked at the surrounding beasts and roared, the fire python is in cahoots with Qin Feiyang. It's falsifying the imperial edict. Kill them quickly. How dare you? The fire python was enraged. The impudent one is you. How dare you falsify the beast god's order and collude with Qin Feiyang? This is unforgivable. See how this lord will kill you. The fire dragon roared and used rule force to kill the fire python. However, after waiting for a long time, rule force didn't appear. What was going on? It was immediately surprised. You only found out now? The fire python smiled coldly. Rule force emerged from its body, and the surrounding void continued to collapse and shatter. How is this possible? The fire dragon's eyes widened in anger. The fire python sneered, Lord Beast God has already removed your position as the guardian, and this emperor will temporarily replace you. This is impossible. The fire dragon shook its head. The fire python shouted, You beast, you killed this emperor's father and blasphemed Lord Beast God's prestige. Kneel down immediately. The fire dragon's body trembled. Didn't you hear it? Do you need this emperor to repeat it again? The fire python shouted, controlling rule force, and rushed toward the fire dragon. The fire dragon hurriedly crawled on the ground and respectfully said, Greetings, Lord Guardian. In its heart, it was extremely unwilling. How long had it been, and it was removed from the position of guardian. The fire python looked coldly at the fire dragon and said, "You didn't expect it, right? You fell into this emperor's hands so quickly." The fire dragon's expression was extremely ugly. "You damn beast, my father was so good to you and saved your life time and time again. How can you be so ruthless as to kill him?" The fire python said angrily. The fire dragon snorted from its nose and said, "This sovereign only hates that I didn't kill you with my own hands at that time." "That's right. If you had directly killed this emperor on the first floor, then all of this wouldn't have happened. Unfortunately, your stupidity, your arrogance, you killed yourself." "All beasts listen up." The fire dragon disobeyed Lord Beast God's orders and refused to go to the third floor. "Immediately surround it and kill it on the spot." The fire python shouted. Yes. The hundreds of divine beasts immediately surrounded the fire dragon. The fire dragon's expression changed and hurriedly said, "Who said this sovereign disobeyed Lord's orders? This sovereign will go to the third floor now." With that, it immediately flew towards the altar. More than 10 ferocious beasts stood in front of it, blocking its path. "Scram!" the fire dragon said angrily. The dozen fierce beasts instinctively felt fear and looked up at the fire python. After all, the fire dragon was at the peak stage of cultivation. Even if it lost its guardian status, it could still easily kill them. The fire python's expression was uncertain. In the end, it sighed helplessly and said, "Let it go." At this time, only then did the dozen fierce beasts retreat to the side. The fire dragon looked coldly at Qin Feiyang and the fire python, then flew across the sky and landed next to the altar, quickly reviving it. After the fire dragon left, the fire python swept its gaze towards the fierce beasts and said, "Qin Feiyang is this emperor's friend. In the future, when you see him, you are not allowed to hurt him. Disperse." "Yes." All the beasts responded respectfully and disappeared into the forest. The fire python exhaled and landed in front of Qin Feiyang. It asked with concern, "Are you okay?" "No." Qin Feiyang shook his head, cupped his hands and smiled, "Congratulations. This is all thanks to you. Without your help, not to mention becoming the guardian of the miracle, I might not even be able to keep my life." The fire python laughed. Qin Feiyang smiled and asked suspiciously, "Why didn't you kill the fire dragon just now?" Although the fire dragon was stronger than the fire python, now that the fire python had become a guardian and controlled the power of law, it would be easy to kill the fire dragon. The fire python sighed and said, "Why wouldn't this emperor want to kill it? But Lord Beast God wants to see it. If this emperor kills it, I'm afraid it will anger Lord Beast God." Qin Feiyang nodded and asked, "Why does the small beast want to see it?" "I don't know." The fire python shook its head and said, "And your ancestor, this emperor can't do anything about it." "Why?" Qin Feiyang didn't understand. "When this emperor entered the third floor, I directly appeared in a hall. Lord Beast God is in the hall. After this emperor reported the cause of father's death, it took out something like a crystal and inserted a strand of this emperor's divine sense into it, sending this emperor out." The fire python said. Qin Feiyang asked, "What's outside the hall?" "The doors and windows of the hall are all closed." "I didn't see anything." The fire python shook its head. "In other words, you don't know what the third floor is like?" Qin Feiyang frowned. "Yes." The fire python nodded. Qin Feiyang was silent for a long time and sighed, "Fine, when I have the chance, I'll go in and take a look myself." "Don't go in." The fire python hurriedly said. "Why?" Qin Feiyang was surprised. The fire python said, "You also know that this third floor can only be entered but not exited. Lord Beast God's attitude towards you is also unclear. If you go in, I'm afraid you'll die." "I know. For now, I won't go in." Qin Feiyang smiled. "That's good." The fire python sighed in relief. Qin Feiyang said, just now, you said that the small beast took out a crystal and merged it with a strand of your divine sense. Why is that? This emperor didn't understand at first, but after asking, I found out that as long as I merged my divine sense into the crystal, I would be able to control the power of laws. The fire python said. So magical? What kind of crystal is it? Qin Feiyang was curious. The fire python thought for a while and its divine power surged. A crystal the size of an adult's palm immediately appeared in the void in front of it. This, Qin Feiyang was dumbfounded. This crystal was exactly the same as the heart of the origin of the black tortoise world. Do you know what this is? The fire python asked. Don't you know? Qin Feiyang asked. This emperor has asked, but Lord Beast God didn't say. The fire python said. This is the heart of origin. If I'm not wrong, this should be the heart of origin of the miracle. In other words, this miracle is also an independent world. Qin Feiyang said. I see. The fire python nodded in realization. By the way, after you reported the cause of your father's death to the small beast, why didn't it confront the fire dragon? You have to know that you don't have any evidence. Qin Feiyang was suspicious. The fire python said with a smile, Lord Beast God's means are heaven-defying. There's no need to confront the fire dragon. What do you mean? Qin Feiyang said. The fire python said, it can reverse time and see what happened in the past. What? Reverse time? Qin Feiyang was shocked. Yes. After this emperor reported it, it just waved its hand, and everything that happened when my father died was all revealed. The fire python said. So powerful. Qin Feiyang was shocked. Yes. This is the first time in my life that I've seen such a terrifying method. That's why this emperor advised you not to enter the third level. If Lord Beast God wants to harm you, wouldn't you be walking into a trap? The fire python said. As you said, if it really wanted to harm me, with its means, would have died long ago. Qin Feiyang sighed. He didn't expect that this small beast was so terrifying. How could he take back Chang Shui in the future? The fire python asked, what are your plans now? Qin Feiyang pondered for a while and said, can you sense the location of the ancient world now? This emperor will try. After saying that, the fire python closed its eyes and extended its perception infinitely. After a while, it opened its eyes, and there was a hint of a smile in its eyes. It looked at Qin Feiyang and said, this emperor already knows where the ancient world is. Really? Qin Feiyang was pleasantly surprised. Yes. The fire python nodded. Qin Feiyang said, then let's go to the castle now. This emperor can't go. The fire python shook its head. You can't go? Qin Feiyang was slightly stunned and asked in confusion, why not? Blood for blood. This emperor wants to stay here and wait for the fire dragon. The fire python said word by word, its eyes full of killing intent. Okay. Qin Feiyang nodded and said with a smile, then let's go to the passage of the first level first and see if my companions have come. Yes. The fire python nodded, and a supreme force emerged out of thin air. The man and the beast disappeared without a trace. Chapter 1689. On the first floor, at the passageway. Yan Wei and the other three had been staring at the water source. In the past few days, many state preceptors and people from the main tower had come here, but without exception, they all died under the claws of the griffin. But to Yan Wei's regret, no one from the Mu family showed up. Wang Zicheng frowned and said, do you think the Mu family is all dead? Maybe. Yan Wei nodded. So there are still 4 little ants hiding here. Suddenly, behind the 4, there was a sinister laugh. Oh no. The 4 of them knew something was wrong and quickly turned their heads to look. They saw the griffin standing a few feet behind them with a fierce look in its eyes. How did you find this place? Yen Wei was surprised. I always felt that there was the smell of humans nearby, so I secretly looked for it. And I really found you. Tell me, how do you want to die? The griffin laughed, revealing a mouthful of white fangs. Run! Yen Wei shouted. Boom! A monstrous pressure erupted, and the four of them were immediately imprisoned. He said, You want to escape in front of me? Are you dreaming? My lord, we didn't provoke you. Why do you want to kill us? Yen Wei hurriedly said. You didn't provoke me. However, the Guardian has ordered that as long as a human appears, none shall be spared. All shall be killed. So seriously, it's not me who wants to kill you, it's the Guardian who wants to kill you. The griffin laughed and opened its bloody mouth. Whoosh! At the same time, above the water source, a man and a beast appeared out of thin air. It was Qin Feiyang and the griffin. What a terrifying power! Qin Feiyang immediately sensed the griffin's aura and quickly looked over. When he saw Yen Wei and the other three, his face suddenly changed. He quickly pointed to Yen Wei and the other three and said, Fire Python, they are my companions. Stop the griffin. The fire python looked over and shouted, Griffin, stop right there. The griffin was stunned and raised its head to look at the fire python. Yen Wei and the other three were also stunned. They looked over suspiciously. When they saw Qin Feiyang, ecstasy crawled up their faces. Wang Zicheng shouted, Young master, quickly save us. The flame python brought Qin Feiyang down to the peak of the mountain. Qin Feiyang said, Don't be afraid, I'm here. Fire python? The griffin glanced at the fire python and then at Qin Feiyang. He said angrily, Fire python, why are you colluding with humans? How dare you? The fire python coldly shouted. Yo, so arrogant? Kid, don't tell me you think you're still the child of a guardian? The griffin sneered. The fire python said, This emperor is indeed no longer the guardian's child. Then why are you so arrogant? Do you believe that I will destroy you right now? The griffin said. Kill me? The fire python smiled proudly as rule force descended from the sky. What? This is rule force. How can you control rule force? The griffin was stunned and said in shock and anger. This emperor is indeed no longer the guardian's child, but now, this emperor is the guardian. The fire python said proudly. You're the guardian? How is that possible? Isn't the guardian now the fire dragon? The griffin said. The fire python said, The fire dragon has been abolished by Lord Beast God. Abolished. The griffin's body trembled as he hurriedly prostrated himself on the ground and said respectfully, Greetings, Lord Guardian. Greetings, Lord. Yen Wei and the other three also quickly bowed. However, they were puzzled. How did this young master get together with the Guardian? The fire python looked at Yen Wei and the other three and said with a smile, You're Qin Feiyang's friends, so you're also my friends. There's no need to be so polite. Yes. The four responded respectfully. The fire python looked at the griffin and said, Griffin, how should you be punished? The griffin hurriedly said, My lord, I didn't know these humans were your friends. Please forgive me. The fire python said, Since it's your first offense, I won't pursue the matter. Go back and guard the passage well. In addition, if Qin Feiyang wants to enter the second level in the future, don't stop him. Yes. The griffin nodded, then flew toward the stone door with his tail between his legs. Qin Feiyang looked at the fire python and said with a smile, Thank you. The fire python said, Thank you is too much between us. Young master, Lord Guardian, what are you doing? Yen Wei looked at Qin Feiyang and the fire python suspiciously. Qin Feiyang said, It's a long story. I'll tell you slowly in the future. Yen Wei nodded and stepped aside. The fire python closed its eyes and sensed. After a while, it took the group of people and appeared in the sky above a desolate plain. The plain was vast and boundless, and there was a group of poisonous scorpions living there. There were no less than 1,000,000 of them. But at this moment, these poisonous scorpions presented a strange scene. They were all crawling on the ground, divided into two halves, and made a path. But the point was that there were no living creatures on the path. What's going on? What are they afraid of? Yan Wei said in surprise. Qin Feiyang glanced at Yan Wei, then looked at the fire python and said with a smile, "At first, I didn't believe it, but I didn't expect it to be true. Yes. This is the first time I've seen it with my own eyes." The fire python said. "Young master, Lord Guardian, what are you talking about?" Yan Wei said. Qin Feiyang said with a smile, "Wherever the ancient world goes, all living creatures will instinctively feel fear and make way." Ancient world? Yan Wei and the other three looked at each other. What was this? Qin Feiyang didn't explain. He looked at the fire python and said, "Brother Fire, I'll have to trouble you." The fire python smiled and led Qin Feiyang and the others to land on the path. The scorpions on both sides suddenly became restless. The fire python shouted, "I'm the guardian of the miracle, don't be rash." Hearing this, the scorpions immediately became obedient. Boom! Following closely, the fire python's divine power emerged, forming a wall of fire, lying on the path. Boom! Soon, as if something had hit the wall of fire shook slightly. Immediately, an ancient stone door appeared in the void. This, Yan Wei and the other three were dumbfounded. There was clearly nothing in the void, but a stone door appeared out of thin air. To hell with it. The fire python said, "Brother Qin, the entrance to the ancient world has appeared, hurry up and go in." Okay. Qin Feiyang nodded. The fire python said again, "In addition, this may be the last time I help you." Qin Feiyang was stunned, looked at the fire python and said, "What do you mean?" "Now that Lord Beast God's attitude is unknown, I really don't dare to get too close to you. I hope you can understand." The fire python said. "So that's how it is." Qin Feiyang suddenly understood and nodded with a smile. "It's okay, after all, small beast is too strong, you should keep a distance from me." After saying that, Qin Feiyang thought for a while and added, "If one day, you and I become enemies, I hope Brother Fire can be merciful." The fire python sighed, "If that day really comes, being merciful is just empty talk, the ending will be a fight to the death." Qin Feiyang fell silent. The fire python also fell silent. "Don't think about it. Maybe one day, when Lord Beast God is in a good mood, he will change his mind." The fire python shook its head and laughed. "That's true." Qin Feiyang nodded with a smile and said, "But no matter what the result is, to be able to make a friend like you is the fortune of my life for me, Qin Feiyang, to be able to make a friend like you is also the fortune of my life." The fire python said. "Thank you. Goodbye." Qin Feiyang cupped his hands and said, "Take care." The fire python said. Qin Feiyang took a deep breath and waved, "Let's go." After saying that, he took the lead and stepped into the stone door. Yan Wei and the other three looked at each other, bowed to the fire python, and hurriedly followed in. When the five disappeared, the stone door also disappeared. The fire python dispersed the wall of fire, looked up at the sky, and muttered, "Friend, is this the feeling?" Swish. The next moment, it also disappeared into thin air without a trace. The ancient world floated aimlessly in the void again. In a square, Qin Feiyang and the other four stood side by side. The square was about 300 meters in size and was extremely dilapidated. Behind them stood a stone door. It was more than 100 feet tall. This was the entrance to the ancient world. But the stone door was also extremely tattered, as if it would collapse when the wind blew. All around, The ground stretched as far as the eye could see, and it was riddled with holes and dilapidated walls. Not a single living being could be seen here, and it was suffused with an aura of decay, misery, and despair. In the sky, dark clouds covered the entire ancient world, causing it to fall into a gloomy state. "This is the ancient world," Qin Feiyang murmured. The environment here was even worse than the first level of the miracle. Although there were 10 suns in the first level, and although it was also lacking in essence qi, at least they could see sunlight. And here, the dull atmosphere and the aura of despair made people feel depressed. And the essence qi here could not be described as lacking, it was completely absent. This was a dangerous place filled with the aura of death. Yan Wei asked in surprise, "Young master, what is this place?" Qin Feiyang said, "It's an ancient continent, the ancient world." An ancient continent? The four of them looked at each other in disbelief. Wang Zicheng asked suspiciously, "Then what are we doing here?" "Don't be fooled by the fact that this place is dilapidated. There are many great fortunes hidden here. And Mu Tianyang and the others are also here." Qin Feiyang said. "Mu Tianyang and the others are here?" The four of them were surprised. "Yes. But that's only secondary. The main reason I'm here is because of my ancestor," Qin Feiyang said. "The Qin Emperor?" Gongsun Bei was stunned and asked, "Is your ancestor also here?" "My ancestor is not here, but he once inquired about this place. I think there should be some kind of mystery hidden here," Qin Feiyang said. "If even the Qin Emperor has inquired about this place, then this place must not be simple." Gongsun Bei looked around, his eyes full of expectation. "Who is it?" Suddenly, Qin Feiyang abruptly turned his head, and shouted as he looked towards the ruins on his left. The ruins were 100 miles away from where they were. The dilapidated walls and broken buildings were enough to show that it was once a town. "Is anyone there?" Gongsun Bei and the others looked in the direction, but they did not see or hear anything. Chapter 1690. Barbarian Bull said, "Young master, did you see wrongly?" "Nope. I saw a black shadow with my own eyes just now," Qin Feiyang said. Boom! His divine sense surged out, covering the sky and covering the earth as it rushed towards the ruins. "What? This is divine consciousness. Young master, you have broken through to the false god realm?" Yan Wei was surprised. Gongsun Bei and the other two were also in disbelief. "Yes. Many things have happened in the past 2 years. I will tell you later." Qin Feiyang nodded. Yan Wei, Wang Zicheng, and the other two were overjoyed. Gongsun Bei, on the other hand, was shocked. He remembered that Qin Feiyang was only a 4-star combat emperor when he entered the divine ruin. However, he had reached the false god realm in less than 2 years. This speed was too terrifying. At the same time, in the ruins, behind a broken stone wall, a middle-aged man was hiding. He was dressed in black and was holding his breath. His expression was filled with nervousness. Suddenly, a divine consciousness surged. The man in black was shocked. It was divine consciousness. "Why are you hiding here?" Without waiting for black costume burly man to regain his senses, an ice-cold voice rang out above his head. The man in black quickly looked up and his face turned pale. The person who appeared above him was Qin Feiyang. The man in black jumped up and retreated in panic. He asked, "Is this divine consciousness yours?" "Yes. It seems that you know me. Who are you? Why are you acting so sneakily?" Qin Feiyang shouted as his divine might surged. The man in black was a peak 9-star combat emperor. However, he was as small as an ant under the divine consciousness of a false god. He was immediately imprisoned. "There is really someone here?" Gongsun Bei and the other 3 rushed over and looked at the man in black in shock. The man in black looked at Gongsun Bei and said angrily, "Gongsun Bei, You are from the main tower. Why are you with Qin Feiyang? You actually know me? Gong Sunbei was surprised. Qin Feiyang said, not only does he know you, he also knows me. Gong Sunbei was stunned and said, then he must have come in from outside like us. Qin Feiyang looked at the man in black and asked, are you from the Mujia? No. The man in black shook his head. No. The corners of Qin Feiyang's mouth lifted as he landed in the black-robed man's hand. He said, since you know me, you should know my methods. The black-clothed man's pupils constricted. His face was filled with fear. Qin Feiyang said, tell me the truth. I'll leave your corpse intact. I don't know anything. The man in black shook his head. You're quite stubborn. However, do you think that I can't do anything to you if you don't tell me? Qin Feiyang smiled coldly and formed a seal with both hands. In that instant, an imprint of the puppet technique appeared. Puppet technique. The black-clothed man's eyes trembled. Puppet technique? Yan Wei and the others looked at each other and suspiciously looked at the puppet imprint. You know about puppet technique? Qin Feiyang was surprised. Not only did he know him and Gong Sunbei, but he also knew about puppet technique. Since you know about puppet technique, you should know what will happen if you're controlled by it. Qin Feiyang smiled. However, in the eyes of the black-clothed man, it was like a demon's smile. His body couldn't help but tremble as he nodded. I'll tell you. Qin Feiyang said, then tell me. The black-clothed man asked carefully, if I tell you, can you let me go? Qin Feiyang's eyes flashed with killing intent. The black-clothed man couldn't help but feel a chill. He hurriedly said, I'm from the Nether Hall. The Nether Hall? Gong Sunbei has never entered the Black Tortoise world. How do you know him? Qin Feiyang said. Someone called Mu Qin told me. It's not just Gong Sunbei. He told everyone who came to the divine site this time, as long as they had some status. The black-clothed man said. So it's him. Qin Feiyang understood and asked, where is Mu Qin now? The black-clothed man said, he's with Mu Tianyang. He should be in Mu Tianyang's spatial divine item. Then what are you doing here? Qin Feiyang asked. I'm here on the orders of the Palace Lord to monitor the entrance. Because the Palace Lord and the Heavenly Sun Empire's Emperor are worried that you might enter the ancient world. The black-clothed man said. You guys are really considerate. However, you didn't expect me to have already reached the false god realm. Qin Feiyang sneered. I didn't expect it at all. The black-clothed man shook his head and smiled bitterly. Qin Feiyang said, where are the main forces of the Nether Hall and the Heavenly Sun Empire now? The Nether Hall and the Heavenly Sun Empire are together now. They're not too far from here. The black-clothed man said vaguely. Speak clearly. Qin Feiyang shouted. The black-clothed man hurriedly said, they're in a dilapidated ancient city in the northwest. It's more than 30,000 miles away from here. Qin Feiyang looked at the northwest and said, apart from the Nether Hall and the Heavenly Sun Empire, who else is there? There are also people from the Mu clan. About 3 months ago, the Fire Dragon sent a group of people here. It said that they're all Mu Tianyang's descendants. The black-clothed man said. 3 months ago, Qin Feiyang murmured. That made perfect sense. After the Fire Dragon killed the giant python, he helped find the people from the Mu clan and sent them here. Then, he went to find the small beast and reported the death of the giant python. I was wondering why I didn't see anyone from the Mu clan in the passage. It turns out that they were all sent to the ancient world. When Yan Wei and the others heard this, they finally understood. Plop. The black-clothed man suddenly knelt on the ground and begged, my lord, this little one is only following orders. Please spare this little one's life. Qin Feiyang waved his hand and a strand of false god energy entered the man's forehead, tearing his knowledge sea and shattering his soul. With a bang, the man fell to the ground and died. Young master, the Nether Hall, the Black Tortoise World, and your puppet technique, what are they? Yan Wei asked. Gong Sunbei and Wang Zicheng were also puzzled. The Black Tortoise World is the same as the ancient world. It's an independent world in the divine ruins. The Nether Hall is a force in the Black Tortoise World. Qin Feiyang smiled, then looked at Gong Sunbei and said, the Nether Hall has some connections with your main tower. What connections? Gong Sunbei was puzzled. Qin Feiyang smiled and said, before your main tower unified the Forgotten Continent, the Nether Hall ruled the Forgotten Continent. This, Gong Sunbei was stunned. I'll take you to a place. Qin Feiyang waved his hand and brought the four to the Black Tortoise World. Where is this? The four of them looked at the mountains and rivers in front of them, their eyes full of shock. Qin Feiyang smiled and said, this is the Black Tortoise World. I'm now the master of the Black Tortoise World. The master of the Black Tortoise World? Yan Wei was stunned and urged, young master, quickly tell us. Okay. Qin Feiyang nodded. He told them everything that happened after entering the Black Tortoise World, as well as the structure of the Black Tortoise World, including his acquaintance with the fire python, his grudge with the fire dragon, and the small beast. So that's how it is. Hearing this, the four of them nodded in understanding. At the same time, they were also in disbelief. They never thought that Qin Feiyang would experience so much after coming to the divine ruins. Then what about Cheng Shui? The small beast is so strong. It's almost impossible to snatch it back from its hands. Yan Wei said. There's always a way. There's always a way. Qin Feiyang smiled and looked at Gong Sunbei. He said, how did you two end up together? It's like this. That day, I saw the words you left behind. Yan Wei also gave a brief account of what had happened during this period of time. Well done. Qin Feiyang patted Yan Wei's shoulder and was very pleased. Then he looked at Gong Sunbei and smiled. Welcome to the team. Thank you. Gong Sunbei smiled and reached out to shake Qin Feiyang's hand tightly. Wang Zicheng looked at Qin Feiyang and said, young master, there's one more thing. What's the good news? Qin Feiyang asked with a smile. Gong Sunbei's joining put him in a good mood. Wang Zicheng lowered his head and sighed. It's about the black monkey and the others. The black monkey and the others? Qin Feiyang was stunned. I wouldn't have thought of it if you didn't mention it. Where's the black monkey and the others? Aren't they with you? Yan Wei, Wang Zicheng, and Barbarian Bull all lowered their heads. Qin Feiyang looked at the three people and his expression gradually sank. He frowned and said, speak, what's going on? Gong Sunbei sighed deeply and looked at the three. Then he looked at Qin Feiyang and said, let me tell you, they're dead. What? Qin Feiyang's body trembled. He almost fainted. Looking at Yan Wei and the others, he shouted. Tell me, how did they die? Yan Wei said. The Mu family did it. The three of them immediately recounted the matter in full detail. Damn it. Qin Feiyang was seething with anger. Wang Zicheng took out a box of ashes and handed it to Qin Feiyang. These are their ashes. Qin Feiyang took the jade box and opened it. Looking at the ashes inside, his eyes were full of sorrow. The scenes of the past surfaced in his mind like a tide. The Mu family, I swear I won't be a man if I don't take revenge. No one from the Mu family will leave this place alive. Qin Feiyang gritted his teeth and said word by word. After that, he handed the jade box to Wang Zicheng. Take good care of them. We must let them return to their roots. Yes. Wang Zicheng took the box and nodded respectfully. Barbarian Bull said. Young master, there's one more thing. The queen hasn't been found yet. You didn't find her, but I found her. She's now in the castle. Qin Feiyang said. That's good. Barbarian Bull breathed a sigh of relief and asked. What about Viper and Dan Wangkai? Qin Feiyang said. They're also in the castle. You should also go there to cultivate. I guess you don't know that the castle is different from before. Different? The two looked at each other and looked at Qin Feiyang suspiciously. After the first seal was undone, a time array appeared, Yi Zichen said. The time formation can change the time inside the castle. 1 day outside is 10 days inside the castle. In other words, 10 days inside the castle is only 1 day outside. Qin Feiyang said. Damn! There's such a thing? Wang Zicheng and Barbarian Bull looked at each other. Gong Sun Bei was also surprised. He had only just found out about this matter. Qin Feiyang said. Are you surprised? Nonsense. If we knew this earlier, we wouldn't have gone undercover in the main tower. Young master, you're too bad. Such a good thing and you didn't tell us until now. Viper and Dan Wangkai, those two bastards, must be a few streets ahead of us now. Wang Zicheng and Barbarian Bull were very dissatisfied. Qin Feiyang smiled helplessly and said. The last sentence is true. You two can't catch up with their cultivation now. That's not fair. Wang Zicheng snorted. Okay. You two are big men. Why are you so calculative? Besides, haven't you returned to my side now? Qin Feiyang rolled his eyes at the two and looked at Yan Wei. You've worked hard these years. It's what I should do. Yan Wei smiled. Qin Feiyang smiled. He looked at Wang Zicheng and said, do you see this? This is the difference. Yan Wei has been in the same situation as you all these years, and his situation is even more dangerous than yours. He was controlled by the Imperial Advisor using the blood-soul technique, but look at him. The two pouted. Qin Feiyang looked at Yan Wei and said, I'll help you remove the blood-soul technique first. Remove the blood-soul technique? Yan Wei was stunned. The Imperial Tutor hasn't been eliminated yet. Isn't it too early to remove the blood-soul technique now? Qin Feiyang smiled. It doesn't matter. The Imperial Tutor is no longer a threat to us now. That may be the case, but there are always accidents. Besides, you just said that Zhuge Mingyang knows the whereabouts of the mistress and the others. Since Zhuge Mingyang knows, then the Imperial Tutor must also know. In my opinion, don't remove the blood-soul technique for now. When I see the Imperial Tutor, I will continue to hide by his side. Yan Wei said. Hearing this, Qin Feiyang lowered his head and pondered. Young master, didn't you say that Zhuge Mingyang is still in the Black Tortoise world? We can actually set up a trap and let Yan Wei sneak to Zhuge Mingyang's side. Wang Zicheng suddenly said. What trap? Qin Feiyang raised his head and looked at Wang Zicheng. We can pretend to capture Yan Wei and imprison him somewhere, then deliberately let Zhuge Mingyang find out. Yan Wei is hiding by the Imperial Tutor's side and has the Imperial Tutor's deep trust. Zhuge Mingyang will definitely not be suspicious. In this way, Yan Wei might be able to find out the whereabouts of the mistress and the others. Wang Zicheng said. Yan Wei's eyes lit up and he nodded. This is a good idea. Young master, I agree. The idea is good, but it will put you in more danger. Because Zhuge Mingyang is smarter than the Imperial Tutor. Furthermore, the strength of the mysterious person hiding in his body is also quite terrifying. Qin Feiyang said. Young master, I'm not a pushover either. Yan Wei smiled confidently. Qin Feiyang shook his head and smiled. He nodded and said, all right, then I'll have to trouble you. Now go to the castle and cultivate. When Zhuge Mingyang comes out of the desert, we'll set a trap for him. Yes. Yan Wei nodded. Zhuge Mingyang still had 8 months to go before he could leave the desert. 8 months, 240 days. 240 days outside was 2,400 days in the castle. That was 200 years. This time could not be wasted. Whoosh! Qin Feiyang waved his hand and sent the four of them to the castle. Big Brute Ox, Wang Zicheng. Viper and Dan Wangkai immediately stood up and greeted Wang Zicheng and Wang Zicheng. Brother Gongsun. Wang Yuer also stood up and greeted Gongsun Bei, her face full of joy. Gongsun Bei's eyes trembled, and he immediately walked toward Wang Yuer. The castle became lively immediately. Vote, vote. Chapter 1691. Compared to the liveliness of the castle, the outside seemed particularly cold and cheerless. Qin Feiyang stood alone in the void with his head lowered, thinking about a question in his mind. Whoosh! A moment later, the sound of something breaking through the air suddenly came. Qin Feiyang looked up and saw Yu Huang, Zhao Tailai, and a few others, flying through the air like lightning. Greetings, young master. Landing in front of Qin Feiyang, Zhao Tailai and the others bowed. Qin Feiyang asked, "How's the harvest?" Returning with a full load. Zhao Tailai took out 5 Qinkuan bags and handed them to Qin Feiyang. Upon checking, Qin Feiyang immediately got up with a look of shock. These 5 Qinkuan bags were filled with medicinal herbs. And most of them were rare medicinal herbs. For example, spirit infant fruit, fortune fruit, kuei water essence, iwood essence, and so on. These medicinal herbs are only what we found in the Devil's Land. We haven't been to the other places yet. Yu Huang laughed. A Devil's Land actually has so many medicinal herbs. Qin Feiyang was in disbelief. We haven't finished searching the Devil's Land yet. If we search the entire Devil's Land, it will be even more amazing. Willow Tree said. There's no need to search the entire Devil's Land, as long as it's enough. After all, there are still so many people in the Black Tortoise world, and they also need to survive. Qin Feiyang laughed. We also considered this point, so we didn't search all the medicinal herbs. Zhao Tailai said. Well done. Qin Feiyang nodded and asked, what about the pill furnace? Zhao Tailai and the others looked at each other and smiled. Immediately after, Zhao Tailai waved his hand, and a 3-legged black cauldron appeared. The black cauldron was the size of a washbasin, and its entire body was black as if it was made of black iron. A lifelike dragon was engraved on it. Treasure light shone in all directions. This is, Qin Feiyang was surprised. Zhao Tailai said, this cauldron is called the Black Dragon Cauldron, an 8th-grade pill furnace. Qin Feiyang was shocked and asked, where did you find it? It's also the Devil's Land. Speaking of which, it's a coincidence. When we were choosing medicinal herbs, we broke into the territory of a golden divine leopard. Zhao Tailai said. Golden leopard? Qin Feiyang was taken aback. He remembered that back then, when he was scheming against Mu Qing in Mu Tianyang, he had also encountered a golden divine leopard. Lu Mu smiled and said, you guessed right. It's that leopard. He was also present when they schemed against Mu Tianyang and Mu Tianyang previously, so he naturally recognized them. Such a coincidence? Qin Feiyang was surprised. This time, when we met it, it wanted to settle the score with me. In the end, it was beaten to the ground by old Zhao in no time. We found this black dragon cauldron in its lair. Qin's, I see. The first time, it helped us hold back Mu Tianyang. This time, it gave us an 8th-grade pill furnace. This little leopard is quite fated with us. Qin Feiyang shook his head and smiled. Hearing this, Zhao Tailai and the others looked at each other and their expressions changed. What's wrong? Qin Feiyang looked at them. Zhao Tailai asked, young master, do you really think you're fated with it? Yes. Qin Feiyang nodded and asked suspiciously, is there a problem? Zhao Tailai chuckled and said, to tell you the truth, I want to subdue it as a mount. Qin Feiyang was stunned and said, this is a good thing. You've already broken through to the war god realm. If you have a divine beast as a mount, it'll be like adding wings to a tiger. Zhao Tailai smiled and said, I'm afraid you won't agree. Why wouldn't I agree to such a good thing? Qin Feiyang was speechless. Zhao Tailai said, didn't you say that we shouldn't destroy the balance here? Let everything develop naturally. Qin Feiyang shook his head and said, what I meant was not to disturb people's lives. I didn't say you can't look for a mount. I see. Then can we also look for a mount? Willow Tree looked at Qin Feiyang and asked. The 6 elders, Cui Li, and Li Jian's eyes also lit up. You guys? Qin Feiyang glanced at them and pondered for a while, then shook his head and said, you guys can't. Why? Willow Tree and the others looked at Qin Feiyang in confusion. Why can old Zhao and they can't? Because you're not strong enough. I have to set a rule. Only those who have broken through to the war god realm are allowed to look for divine beast mounts. Qin Feiyang said. This, Willow Tree and the others raised their eyebrows. There aren't many divine beasts in the Black Tortoise realm. If everyone around me wants a mount, how can there be enough? Qin Feiyang said. I understand. This is a kind of incentive for everyone to work hard. Zhao Tailai smiled. That's right. That's what I mean. There are strong and weak divine beasts too. Whoever breaks through to the war god realm first has the right to choose. Of course. I won't help. Whether or not you can subdue the other party depends on your own ability. Qin Feiyang smiled. So that's how it is. Willow Tree and the others mumbled. They all swore in their hearts that they would break through to the war god realm first. Qin Feiyang waved his hand and led everyone into the castle. Looking at Yu Huang, Zhao Tailai, and the others, Gong Sunbei and Yen Wei were extremely shocked. 1 war god, 9 quasi-divinities, and 1 quasi-divinity beast. What a terrifying lineup. They never thought that Qin Feiyang would be able to subdue so many terrifying existences in such a short time. Dan Wangkai, time to work. Qin Feiyang waved his hand and the black dragon cauldron and a few Qinkuan bags appeared in front of Dan Wangkai. An 8th grade cauldron. Dan Wangkai was very excited. Qin Feiyang said, I want you to do whatever it takes to increase Yen Wei's cultivation. Yen Wei's cultivation? Dan Wangkai was stunned. He looked at Yen Wei with a hint of suspicion in his eyes. When Yen Wei followed me, I didn't trust him at first, so I didn't help him open the door of potential. Later, when I trusted him, he had already broken through to the war god realm and could no longer open the door of potential. Regarding this matter, I also feel guilty in my heart. Qin Feiyang sighed. Dan Wangkai seemed to have realized something. Yen Wei quickly said, Young master, I've never blamed you. Qin Feiyang said, It's because you've never blamed me that I feel even worse. Finished. Qin Feiyang looked at Dan Wangkai again and said, In short, all resources have to be given to him. Understood. Dan Wangkai nodded. A full 200 years. Even if Yen Wei hadn't opened the door of potential yet, with the accumulation of a large amount of resources, it was enough for him to break through to the 9-star war god realm. Qin Feiyang looked at Gong Sunbei and smiled, Brother Gong Sun, you've already broken through to the peak realm. It's time to comprehend the profound meaning of becoming a god. Gong Sunbei nodded and frowned, however, I don't know anything about the profound meaning of becoming a god. It doesn't matter. I'll send you to a place where you can get unexpected gains. Look at Li Jian. He broke through to God realm there. Qin Feiyang smiled. Li Jian? Gong Sunbei glanced at Willow Tree and the others. He still didn't know who Li Jian was? Li Jian took a step forward and smiled, Brother Gong Sun, I'm Li Jian. I used to be the Imperial Tutor's confidant. Now, I'm following the young master. So, you're the Imperial Tutor's confidant. Gong Sunbei nodded and smiled, Greetings, Brother Li. I hope Brother Li can take care of me in the future. Take care of each other, take care of each other. Li Jian quickly waved his hand and smiled. Gong Sunbei smiled and looked at Qin Feiyang, teasing, you can even subdue the imperial tutor's confidant. Impressive. When the imperial tutor finds out, he'll be so angry that he'll vomit blood. Isn't that what I want? Qin Feiyang smiled. You. Gong Sunbei shook his head and asked, where is the place you were talking about? You'll know when you get there. Qin Feiyang waved his hand and sent Gong Sunbei to Ling Yunfei's castle. This is, looking at the unfamiliar land in front of him, Gong Sunbei was stunned. This was actually another space divine object. There's someone here? Suddenly. He sensed a few auras and flew over. Soon. He saw a medicinal field. It's her. She's here too. When he saw the young lady of the Dragon Phoenix house, Gong Sunbei was surprised. Outside. Qin Feiyang had also brought Zhao Tailai back to the Black Tortoise world. As for Willow Tree and the others, they were all in seclusion in the castle. Zhao Tailai said, young master, is there really a divine object in the netherworld sea like Li Yun said? I'm not sure either. Qin Feiyang shook his head. Zhao Tailai was stunned. You're now the master of the Black Tortoise world, how can you not know? Let me sense it. Qin Feiyang closed his eyes, and his perception was magnified infinitely. A moment later. He opened his eyes, and a smile crept up in his eyes. How is it? Zhao Tailai asked. There is indeed the aura of a divine object in the netherworld sea. And not only in the netherworld sea, I also sense the aura of a divine object in the land of devils, the land of sealed souls, and the desert. Qin Feiyang said. Zhao Tailai was shocked. Qin Feiyang glanced at Zhao Tailai and shook his head, don't even think about these divine objects. Zhao Tailai was stunned, and his expression suddenly became gloomy. Don't misunderstand. What I mean is, these divine objects are not worthy of you. Qin Feiyang said. Not worthy of me? Zhao Tailai was stunned. Yes. I can feel that these divine objects are similar to the 7-star sword, not very strong. And now that you're following me, I must be responsible for you and find you a decent divine artifact. Not to mention how good it is, at least at the same level as the divine phoenix blade. Qin Feiyang laughed. So that's how it is. Zhao Tailai seemed to have woken up from a dream, and quickly bowed, thank you, young master. Qin Feiyang smiled, and said, go to the land of devils, quickly subdue that little leopard, I may need your help later. Help? Zhao Tailai was stunned. You'll know later. Qin Feiyang's eyes flashed with killing intent. All right. Zhao Tailai nodded. Qin Feiyang waved his hand, and Zhao Tailai immediately appeared in the sky above the central area of the land of devils. Qin Feiyang himself also controlled the Black Tortoise world and flew towards the northwest. Not long after. Chapter 1692. The ancient city covered an area of about 100 miles. Although the tall city walls and majestic buildings were dilapidated, it was not hard to imagine that this place used to be glorious and prosperous. Qin Feiyang controlled the Black Tortoise realm and entered the ancient city. The dusky ground in the deathly silent city caused this place to seem like it was covered by a mysterious veil, mysterious and unfathomable. After spending less than an hour, Qin Feiyang searched the entire ancient city, but he didn't find a single person. Could it be that they were all in the space divine items? If that was the case, he could use his divine thought to search. However, he had to go out to use his divine thought. Moreover, once he used his divine thought, he would definitely be discovered by Mu Tianyang and the others. What am I thinking? Mu Qing has the omniscient eye. Maybe he has already discovered me when I entered the ancient realm. Qin Feiyang smiled bitterly and left the Black Tortoise realm. He entered the ancient castle and landed on a street. Boom! His divine thought suddenly appeared and surged in all directions. Soon, a hint of a smile appeared in his eyes. Using the walk formula, he walked to the front of a dilapidated hall. The hall was more than 100 feet tall. Every brick, tile, beam, and pillar was made of high-quality stone. On both sides of the door, there were 2 stone statues of divine beasts. They opened their bloody mouths and revealed their fangs, which was daunting. Although it was dilapidated, it was enough to show that this was once the residence of a big force or a big shot. And in this hall, Qin Feiyang used his divine thought to capture 2 space divine items. He didn't escape. This means that Mu Qing has not discovered me. Qin Feiyang murmured. However, it made sense. Mu Qing could not have opened the omniscient eye to check his location all the time. He did not hide and directly barged into the hall. Inside the hall, the ground was full of holes and the walls were rotten. All kinds of furniture had decayed and the air was filled with a damp smell. Who is it? Suddenly, a cold voice sounded. Then, a black figure rushed out from a room next to him and charged at Qin Feiyang murderously. The corners of Qin Feiyang's mouth lifted, and flames rolled out. The dimly lit hall immediately became as bright as day. It's you, Qin Feiyang, the black shadow exclaimed. Qin Feiyang also saw the true face of the black shadow. It was a black-robed old man with mottled white hair and a stooped body. However, the aura he exuded was extremely powerful. He was clearly a false god. Qin Feiyang sized up the old man and asked, "Have I seen you somewhere before?" He felt that this person was somewhat familiar. The black-clothed old man's eyes flashed. He turned around and punched out. A large hole immediately appeared in the wall of the hall. Immediately after, he didn't even look back as he flew away. His heart was filled with disbelief. Previously, he had already sensed Qin Feiyang's divine sense. However, he had never imagined that the owner of this divine sense would be Qin Feiyang. I remember now. Qin Feiyang suddenly slapped his head, looked at the black-clothed old man's back, and laughed. You seem to be an elder of the Nether Palace. I saw you when you came to kill the willow tree. The black-clothed old man did not reply. Qin Feiyang took a step forward and chased after him. Just as Qin Feiyang left, 2 figures appeared out of thin air in the hall. It was the Vice Hall Master of the Nether Palace and the Heavenly Sun Empire's Yan Shenhe. This Qin Feiyang really chased us all the way to the ancient realm. The most unbelievable thing is that he was actually able to cut off his obsession, destroy his inner demons, and break through to become a god. Yan Shenhe looked in the direction where Qin Feiyang disappeared and said in shock. These are not within my consideration. I only want to know, is it a coincidence that he entered the ancient realm, or is he here to kill us? The Vice Hall Master said in a deep voice. If it was a coincidence, then there was nothing to say. But if he deliberately entered the ancient realm, it meant that the giant python and fire dragon had leaked their whereabouts. Otherwise, how would Qin Feiyang know? Don't worry about that. Elder Xiong escaped without saying a word. He must be trying to buy time for us to escape. Let's go, Yan Shenhe said. The Vice Hall Master frowned. Then isn't Elder Xiong doomed? Then what do you want to do? It's better for him to die than for us to be wiped out, Yan Shenhe said. Nonsense. Elder Xiong is a member of the Nether Palace, of course you don't care. If it was someone from the Heavenly Sun Empire, would you still say that? The Vice Hall Master said angrily. What's the point of arguing about this? You're not leaving? I'll leave. Yan Shenhe snorted coldly and rushed towards the door. But suddenly, a white figure appeared in front of the door. It was Qin Feiyang. Yan Shenhe's eyes widened as he said in shock, Didn't you go after Elder Xiong? Why are you here? Do you think his little tricks can deceive me, Qin Feiyang? Qin Feiyang smiled mockingly as he stepped into the hall and walked towards the 2. Yan Shenhe and the Vice Hall Master retreated in fear. Qin Feiyang rolled his eyes and looked at the Vice Hall Master. Actually, I don't have any thoughts about the Nether Palace. My target is the Heavenly Sun Empire. Don't listen to him. He's purposely trying to take us down one by one. Yan Shenhe hurriedly said. Is that necessary? Qin Feiyang smiled contemptuously and said, even if all the false gods of your two factions come out, I won't care. Arrogant. Do you think you can do whatever you want just because you've broken through to the false god realm? Die. Yan Shenhe was enraged, his aura erupted as he punched towards Qin Feiyang. Ignorant person. Qin Feiyang shook his head as he raised his arm and punched out. Boom. A destructive aura suddenly roared out. The hall was instantly razed to the ground. At the same time, along with a cracking sound, Yan Shenhe's arm was crushed on the spot. His entire body was sent flying as blood gushed out from his mouth. How can he be so strong? Yan Shenhe's eyes widened in disbelief. The Vice Palace Master was also extremely shocked. One must know. Yan Shenhe was a veteran false god and was one of the top 10 existences in the entire Heavenly Sun Empire. Qin Feiyang had just broken through not long ago, but he was able to injure Yan Shenhe, a veteran false god? Was this a dream? Yan Shenhe stabilized his body and shouted, Vice Hall Master, this kid is too strong, let's kill him together. However, the Vice Hall Master turned a deaf ear to him and looked at Qin Feiyang. Are you sure you won't attack the Nether Palace? Silly, silly. Don't you know what kind of person Qin Feiyang is? Yan Shenhe said angrily. Shut up. The Vice Hall Master shouted, what right do you have to tell me what to do? Qin Feiyang looked at Yan Shenhe with a hint of ridicule in his eyes. He looked at the Vice Hall Master and said, stand aside. Okay. The Vice Hall Master nodded and obediently retreated to the side. I'm so angry. Yan Shenhe roared. Qin Feiyang took a step forward and walked towards Yan Shenhe with a calm expression. What do you want to do? Yan Shenhe hurriedly retreated. Qin Feiyang raised the corner of his mouth and said, my great Qin and your Heavenly Sun Empire are irreconcilable. What do you think I want to do? Boom. His aura was like a rainbow, shocking everyone. Yan Shenhe gritted his teeth and activated his battle soul as he madly charged towards Qin Feiyang. A mere ant dares to compete with the sun and moon? Qin Feiyang smiled disdainfully. Boom. Roar. The nine-leaf fire lotus appeared out of thin air. The terrifying divine might was earth-shattering. Boom. Everything within 10,000 miles was destroyed in an instant. Accompanied by two deafening explosions, Yan Shenhe's battle soul disintegrated on the spot and dissipated in the air. Spurt. Yan Shenhe spat out another mouthful of blood, his face was pale. However, at this moment, killing intent flashed in the Vice Hall Master's eyes. He silently approached Qin Feiyang and struck his palm at Qin Feiyang's back. Boom. Qin Feiyang immediately spat out a mouthful of blood and smashed into the ground below. A deep pit appeared immediately. Cracks spread all around like a spider web. Yan Shenhe looked at the Vice Hall Master in shock. Do you think I'll believe his nonsense? I pretended to compromise just to find a good opportunity. The Vice Hall Master sneered. Well done. Yan Shenhe was overjoyed. He lowered his head to look at Qin Feiyang, only to see Qin Feiyang lying motionlessly at the bottom of the pit with blood flowing out of his back. He's unconscious. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Kill him. Yan Shenhe shouted. The Vice Hall Master nodded. Boom. Their eyes flashed coldly as they unleashed their most powerful divine techniques again. They charged toward Qin Feiyang with monstrous killing intent. The two divine techniques were extremely terrifying. The ground trembled and the void distorted. Hee hee, suddenly, a laugh rang in the air. Yan Shenhe and the Vice Hall Master's eyes widened as they stared at Qin Feiyang in shock. He didn't faint. Qin Feiyang slowly got up and looked at the Vice Hall Master. He said, "Attacking me is the worst choice you've ever made in your life." Looking at Qin Feiyang's eyes, the Vice Hall Master could not help but feel a sense of panic. Qin Feiyang waved his hand and a divine phoenix soared into the sky to meet the two divine techniques. Fire Phoenix Arts. Boom! The two divine techniques immediately collapsed and were annihilated. Nether Palace, Heavenly Sun Empire. Today, none of you will be able to leave. Qin Feiyang smiled as the purple gold dragon spirit roared out. Innate divine ability, instantly activated. The area within a radius of 10,000 miles suddenly turned into a prison. Yan Shenhe and the Vice Hall Master were imprisoned in the void, unable to move at all. A wave of despair that could not be dissipated engulfed their hearts. Yan Shenhe's gaze suddenly trembled as he hurriedly shouted, "Stop, Mu Tianyang has something to say to you. Even if he has something to say, you have to die." Qin Feiyang smiled and landed in front of Yan Shenhe. "No," Yan Shenhe cried out in despair. Qin Feiyang stretched out his arm, his 5 fingers were like eagle claws as he grabbed Yan Shenhe's head and squeezed. Kacha! Yan Shenhe's head immediately exploded like a watermelon. Seeing this scene, the Vice Hall Master was scared out of his wits. Just as Yan Shenhe was about to die, Mu Qing appeared out of thin air and said angrily, "You're too much." "Too much?" Qin Feiyang smiled and said, "I don't know if it's too much or not, but I admire your courage." Although it was Mu Qing who appeared, the voice was Mu Tianyang's. It was obvious. At this moment, the one who occupied Mu Qing's body was Mu Tianyang. Heard. Mu Tianyang raised his eyebrows. "Didn't you see that I opened the Emperor prison? I think with your current state, you shouldn't be able to break the Emperor prison." Chapter 1693. I know. When I came out, I didn't think about leaving alive. Mu Tianyang said. "You're quite self-aware. Tell me, what do you want to say?" Qin Feiyang said. "Why did you appear in the ancient realm? Did the giant serpent and fire dragon betray us?" Mu Tianyang said in a deep voice. "After you left, a lot of things happened. The giant serpent is dead, and the fire dragon can't even protect himself now." Qin Feiyang said. "What?" Mu Tianyang's eyes trembled. The Vice Palace Master's face also turned pale. Their biggest backers now were the fire dragon and the giant serpent. But they didn't expect that these two backers would collapse. Qin Feiyang said. "Didn't the fire dragon send your people to the ancient realm? Didn't he tell you?" "No. He only said that he would soon soar. And you will soon die in his hands." Mu Tianyang said. "Die in his hands?" He really knows how to talk big. Even if those things didn't happen, he can't kill me. Because the master of the Black Tortoise realm is now me. Qin Feiyang sneered. "What? You became the master of the Black Tortoise realm?" Their eyes widened in anger. "That's right." Qin Feiyang said. "How is that possible? The Black Tortoise realm is an independent small world. Even if the fire dragon and the giant serpent can't stop you, the creator won't let you." Mu Tianyang said. "There are some things that you won't understand. Let me ask you, when the ancestor entered the divine ruins, did he inquire about the ancient realm?" Qin Feiyang said. "Yes. He did inquire about it." Mu Tianyang nodded. Qin Feiyang hurriedly said. "Why did he inquire about it? Is there some kind of secret hidden in the ancient realm?" "I don't know either. We've been in the ancient realm for more than a year, but we haven't found anything out of the ordinary." Mu Tianyang said. "Could it be that the ancestor was just casually inquiring about it and had no other intentions?" Qin Feiyang frowned and fell into deep thought. Mu Tianyang said, "There's another question. Speak. Qin Feiyang said. How did you become a god? This was what Mu Tianyang couldn't figure out the most. Because of Qin Feiyang's situation, he knew very well that it was almost impossible for him to become a god. Qin Feiyang said, as I said before, I will open up a new path to godhood. You succeeded? Mu Tianyang was bewildered. Isn't that obvious? Qin Feiyang shrugged. Amazing, truly amazing. To be honest, I really admire you now. To open up a new path to godhood, you're the first person in the world to do so. Mu Tianyang sighed. Qin Feiyang said, you seem to have forgotten someone, Zhuge Mingyang. Zhuge Mingyang, Mu Tianyang muttered, seemingly lost in his memories. After a long while, he looked up at Qin Feiyang and said, you know, there's actually a second way to enter the divine ruins. What is it? Qin Feiyang's gaze trembled, saying, how do you know? Mu Tianyang said, it seems that you've already noticed something from Zhuge Mingyang. What do you mean? Could it be that you also know about Zhuge Mingyang's situation? Qin Feiyang said. This matter, other than Zhuge Mingyang, in this world, I'm afraid only your ancestor and I know the best. Mu Tianyang sighed. What the hell is going on? Who is the person hiding in Zhuge Mingyang's body? Qin Feiyang shouted. Mu Tianyang took a deep breath and said with difficulty, it's not a person, it's a dragon. There was a deep fear in his eyes. Dragon? Qin Feiyang frowned. Yes. His strength is extremely terrifying. The heart of the demon dragon, the eye of the demon dragon, the claw of the demon dragon, the scale of the demon dragon, I think you know about it. Mu Tianyang said. Of course I know. These are all with me now. Qin Feiyang said. The heart of the demon dragon, the eye of the demon dragon, and so on are all parts of the demon dragon's body. Mu Tianyang said. What? Qin Feiyang trembled physically and mentally. Suddenly, he seemed to think of something and said, I seem to have heard this legend from someone. It is said that the demon dragon has a master called the demon ancestor. This is not a legend. It's true. Mu Tianyang said. Demon dragon, demon ancestor, Qin Feiyang's eyes trembled. The legend turned out to be true. In other words, Zhuge Mingyang is the disciple of the demon dragon. Lin Yi and the mermaid princess are now in the hands of the demon dragon. Qin Feiyang said, I want to know everything about the demon dragon. Everything about the demon dragon, Mu Tianyang murmured and suddenly sneered, aren't you very smart? Go and check it yourself. Qin Feiyang said, tell me, and I will spare your life. Huh, you don't really think that you can kill me, right? Do you really know my means? Mu Tianyang laughed. Qin Feiyang raised his eyebrows. Your ancestor is unprecedented. Have you never thought that if I only have this ability, how can I be a strong opponent of your ancestor? Qin Feiyang, oh, Qin Feiyang, you are still too young. Mu Tianyang shook his head. Qin Feiyang's heart sank, and an uneasy premonition arose in his heart. All of a sudden, a terrifying aura rushed out from Mu Tianyang's body. As soon as this aura appeared, the world changed color. Accompanied by a series of ear-splitting rumbles, the surrounding earth collapsed crazily. The Emperor prison was also instantly broken. This is the aura of a divine artifact. Qin Feiyang's expression changed, and he quickly retreated. However, only the aura appeared, but Mu Tianyang didn't take out the divine artifact. Mu Tianyang slightly raised the corner of his mouth, looked at Qin Feiyang in ridicule, and asked, how is this aura? Can it be compared with your castle and Changshui? Qin Feiyang's face was as calm as water. He didn't know if this aura could be compared with Changshui and the castle. Because how strong Changshui and the castle were was still a mystery. But he knew that this aura had already made him feel despair. Do you know? Your ancestor, Emperor Qin, has a divine artifact with the power of law. Mu Tianyang said. I know. Qin Feiyang nodded. How do you know? Mu Tianyang was surprised. Qin Feiyang said in a deep voice, I know far more than you think. Mu Tianyang joked, then do you know that I also have a divine artifact with the power of law? What? Qin Feiyang's body and mind trembled. This was simply a bolt from the blue. It was too unexpected. Mu Tianyang said, so it's impossible for you to kill me. Qin Feiyang said, this aura is released by that divine artifact? Correct. Well, can we sit down and have a good chat now? Mu Tianyang said with a smile. Qin Feiyang's eyes flickered, and he suddenly grinned. What are you laughing at? Mu Tianyang raised his eyebrows. At first, I was thinking that it would be too boring to kill you like this. Now, you also have a divine artifact with the power of law. It's more fun to play like this, isn't it? Let me see how powerful that divine artifact is. Qin Feiyang's body shook, and a monstrous divine power erupted. Purple gold dragon chi emerged, and the divine dragon seal appeared. Seeing this, Mu Tianyang immediately became angry, and said, if you and I fight, both of us will be injured, is there any meaning? But you also know that there will be a battle between you and me. Cut the crap, kill. Qin Feiyang shouted, the divine dragon seal expanded in the wind, and in an instant, it grew to a few hundred feet, shining with divine light, like a huge mountain, and suppressed Mu Tianyang. The Vice Palace Master's pupils shrank, and he quickly retreated. Elder Xiong also returned, and looked at the Vice Palace Master. What's going on? The Vice Palace Master said in a deep voice, this Qin Feiyang's strength has far surpassed ours. Yan Shenhou did not even have the slightest ability to resist, and was directly killed. What? Yan Shenhou is dead? Elder Xiong was shocked. Yes. The Vice Palace Master nodded. Not only is this kid's methods amazing, even his brain is terrifying. Previously, you wanted to lure him away, but he saw through your intentions and waited outside the door, catching us off guard. The Vice Palace Master said. Why did we provoke this person? Elder Xiong sighed, looking at Qin Feiyang, who was standing in the wind with an imposing aura. His old face was filled with fear. In the blink of an eye, the divine dragon seal's aura was monstrous, and it distorted a large area of the void. Mu Tianyang stared at the divine dragon seal, and a bone-chilling cold light flashed in his eyes. Good. Today, we will settle our grudges here. Mu Tianyang suddenly roared, and a dagger flew out from his body. The dagger was a foot long, and it was blood-red, as if it was dyed in blood. As soon as it appeared, the world was shrouded in a bloody mist, and it was filled with an incomparable evil aura. It was as if a peerless demon king was born. However, the strange thing was that the dagger was emitting a pungent stench. This stench was like the smell of feces. Mu Tianyang looked at the dagger, and his expression was extremely respectful. He bowed and said, Blood dagger, I'll leave it to you. Clang. The blood dagger trembled in the void, and a shocking sharpness appeared, facing the divine dragon seal. Boom! The divine dragon seal shattered on the spot, and Qin Feiyang's body trembled. He retreated continuously, and purple gold dragon blood flowed from the corner of his mouth. This is that divine artifact? Qin Feiyang stared at the blood dagger. Although the blood dagger had a pungent stench, as if it had just been fished out of a cesspool, its terrifying sharpness was enough to destroy the world. Clang! The blood dagger cut through the sky, and it charged toward Qin Feiyang. The bloody light was surging, and it was full of killing intent. Moreover, Qin Feiyang could feel that the bloody mist released by the blood dagger could not only erode his soul, but also steal the blood in his body. Qin Feiyang took a deep breath, and with a thought, the ancient castle flew out from his glabella. He smiled and said, It's up to you. Clang. Before he finished speaking, the ancient castle shook violently, and a shocking power spread out. The void cracked, and the sky shattered. The earth also shook violently, and it collapsed. From afar, it was like the scene of the end of the world. Boom! The two divine artifacts collided crazily in the void. They were so fast that even the masters, Qin Feiyang and Mu Tianyang, could not catch them. A destructive aura swept out in all directions. Tens of thousands of miles away were affected. It could be said that the world was destroyed. It can actually collide with the ancient castle. Qin Feiyang was shocked to the extreme. Chapter 1694. At the same time, the deputy palace master and elder Xiong were also retreating in a hurry. When the two heaven-defying artifacts collided, even with their cultivation, they felt a sense of fear from their souls. Crack. Boom. A series of loud sounds resounded through the clouds. The sky was collapsing, and the earth was sinking. Compared to this, the fierce and bloody battles that everyone had experienced in the past were like the difference between heaven and earth. They were not even worth mentioning. The more Qin Feiyang watched, the more incredulous he became. After colliding for so long, Bloodblade was not at a disadvantage at all. Shwa. He suddenly retracted his gaze and looked at Mu Tianyang, his eyes flashing with killing intent. Let's not be idle either. Boom. After he finished speaking, he stepped on the walk word and landed in front of Mu Tianyang, throwing a punch. What? Teleport. Mu Tianyang immediately turned pale with fright. In this world, only those who had broken through to the war god realm could control teleportation. But wasn't this Qin Feiyang only a false god? In a flash, he hurriedly mobilized a wisp of divine sense and threw it at Qin Feiyang's fist. At this moment, he was controlling Mu Qing's body. Mu Qing was only a war god. Whether it was his physical body or his battle chi, they were all far inferior to Qin Feiyang. Therefore, he could only use his divine sense to fight. Boom! Qin Feiyang did not dodge at all and punched his divine sense. With a loud bang, his divine sense was annihilated on the spot. However, he was also forced back a few steps. You actually dare to use your divine sense. It seems that after this year, your divine sense has recovered quite a bit. After stabilizing his footsteps, Qin Feiyang sneered and took another step forward, instantly landing behind Mu Tianyang. This is not teleportation. Mu Tianyang's pupils constricted. That's right. This is one of the 6-word divine arts, the walk word. Qin Feiyang sneered coldly, his hand was like an eagle's claw, and the power of the false god filled his fingertips as he reached for Mu Tianyang's head. The terrifying sharpness of his fingertips made Mu Tianyang shiver uncontrollably. The next moment, he decisively left Mu Qing's body and sent Mu Qing into the spatial divine item. Following closely, Mu Tianyang's divine sense turned into a millstone-sized fist and blasted towards Qin Feiyang's big hand. Rumble. The two of them clashed once again. Puff. Qin Feiyang's body shook and he spat out a mouthful of blood. His entire body flew out like a kite with a broken string. His face was full of shock. How was this possible? In the collision just now, he found that the destructive power of his soul awareness was actually several times stronger than the first time. In fact, he even felt as if he had surpassed the level of a semi-divinity. How is it? Mu Tianyang smiled proudly and appeared in the void. Qin Feiyang steadied his footsteps and looked up. He was instantly shocked. He saw a middle-aged man standing in the void opposite him. He was 7 feet tall and had a strong body. He wore a golden robe with a 5-clawed golden dragon embroidered on it. His thick black hair fluttered in the void like an emperor, and his entire body exuded a shocking aura. Qin Feiyang was shocked. It was actually his real body. Could it be that Mu Tianyang had already condensed his divine sense? You must be very surprised. That's right. After entering the Heavenly Sun Empire of the Black Tortoise World, I obtained a large number of divine congealing pills. And after entering the ancient world, the giant python personally helped me condense my divine sense. In addition, my spatial divine item also has a time array, so now, I have almost condensed my divine sense. Mu Tianyang said. Almost? In other words, you haven't condensed your divine sense yet? Qin Feiyang frowned. Just one step away. When my face appears, it means that my divine sense has been completely condensed. However, even if I haven't condensed my divine sense yet, my strength is no longer comparable to a false god like you. Mu Tianyang said proudly. Qin Feiyang looked at Mu Tianyang's face. His face was indeed only a vague outline. If his face was removed, Mu Tianyang was now a living person. It's not something a false god like me can compare to, Qin Feiyang murmured. Then I'd like to see how strong you are. Boom. The battle formula was activated. He took a step forward, and the power of a false god roared in all directions as he charged towards Mu Tianyang. Since you want to know, then I'll let you experience it. Mu Tianyang smiled coldly and didn't dodge. He stepped forward and punched Qin Feiyang. Boom! Accompanied by a deafening sound, Mu Tianyang's real body immediately dissipated. He even destroyed 3 strands of divine sense. On the other hand, Qin Feiyang. At this moment, he was like a mountain, standing firmly in the void, motionless. So that's all there is to it. Qin Feiyang's face was full of disdain. The battle formula not only gave him an amazing defense, but it also reduced half of Mu Tianyang's attack power. Mu Tianyang condensed his real body again, stared at Qin Feiyang, and said word by word, 6-word formula, battle formula. Good eye. If you had already condensed your divine sense, I might have retreated. But unfortunately, your divine sense is still 1 step away. And it is also this step that will cause your body and soul to be destroyed today. Qin Feiyang let out a loud shout as his aura surged like a rainbow. A purple gold dragon roared out. Roar! A world-destroying sound wave flooded the sky like a torrent of beasts, pouncing towards Mu Tianyang. The second move of the Divine Dragon formula, Divine Dragon Roar. Mu Tianyang's heart was heavy. This time, he was indeed too careless. Was Qin Feiyang an ordinary person? Obviously not. Facing this kid, no matter when, he had to be careful and treat him seriously. Huff. Looking at the terrifying sound wave, Mu Tianyang let out a long breath, looked at Qin Feiyang and said indifferently, when I condense my divine sense and return to my divine body, I will fight you. What? You want to retreat? Qin Feiyang raised his eyebrows. This is not called retreating, it's called being tactful. Although I am already very strong now and can kill a pseudo-god, you are an exception. If we continue to fight, the one who will suffer in the end will only be me. However, you don't have to worry, I will call someone out to play with you. Mu Tianyang smiled coldly. Swoosh. The next moment, a middle-aged man in a purple robe appeared in front of him. Mu Tianyang looked at the purple-robed middle-aged man and said indifferently, play with him. The purple-robed middle-aged man raised his eyebrows, looked up at the sound wave, and a terrifying divine aura erupted. Roar. Accompanied by a loud dragon roar, a 5-clawed golden dragon appeared in the sky, carrying a mighty dragon aura as it pounced towards the sound wave. Boom. The moment they met, the sky changed color. The sound wave and the 5-clawed golden dragon disintegrated in the void at the same time, destroying everything. Qin Feiyang raised his eyebrows, looked at the purple-robed middle-aged man, and sneered, how long has it been, and you are already so obedient to Mu Tianyang, even taking off your dragon crown and dragon robe. It seems like a dignified monarch like you is just a good-for-nothing. That's right. This person was the monarch of the Black Tortoise World's Heavenly Sun Empire. When the purple-robed middle-aged man heard this, he became angry and shouted, cut the crap, let's fight. As you wish. Qin Feiyang's eyes turned cold, took a step forward, and began to fight with the purple-robed middle-aged man. Bang bang bang. Boom boom boom. Every time they attacked, whether it was Qin Feiyang or the purple-robed middle-aged man, they were merciless. Although Qin Feiyang had not seen the purple-robed middle-aged man's strength and means before, he had heard of it. It was said that he was a rank 10 pseudo-god, and once the demon mark was removed, he would step into the war god realm. It could be said that this person was very strong. But Qin Feiyang was not afraid at all. Although the purple-robed middle-aged man's cultivation was higher than his, he had an absolute advantage in terms of physical strength. Because his body had been refined by the essence of the god's flesh. As the battle became more and more intense, the purple-robed middle-aged man became more and more shocked. A person who had just stepped into the pseudo-god realm not long ago actually had such terrifying combat strength? Could it be that even Mu Tianyang was afraid of him? Boom! The purple-robed middle-aged man's eyes flashed with killing intent, and a golden pseudo-god force suddenly appeared in his palm. He thought that Qin Feiyang would not be able to react in time. However, Qin Feiyang immediately sensed it, and a golden light also gushed out from his palm. Return formula. Ah! The purple-robed middle-aged man immediately screamed as his arm shattered, and blood stained the sky. The 6-word divine formula again. Mu Tianyang murmured. Is this the extent of his strength? The purple-robed middle-aged man was extremely shocked. He was not unfamiliar with the name Qin Feiyang, but this was the first time he fought with Qin Feiyang. Swish! Mu Tianyang waved his hand again, and 4 figures appeared. These 4 people, some tall and some short, some fat and some thin, all looked middle-aged, wearing a python robe, and exuding a terrifying aura. Mu Tianyang said, "For great divine overlords, go help him." Yes. The 5 of them received the order, and with a monstrous aura, they immediately charged toward Qin Feiyang. For great divine overlords? Qin Feiyang's eyes flashed. He remembered that Willow Tree said that there were always 8 pseudo-gods in the Heavenly Sun Empire. Among them, Mu He and Yen Shenho were already dead. Mu Shinkong was also at the end of the desert, and was killed by the small beast along with Fatso and the others. Qin Feiyang did not reincarnate him at that time. In addition to the purple-robed middle-aged man and the 4 great divine overlords, the 8 pseudo-gods of the Heavenly Sun Empire had all appeared. 5 pseudo-gods, Mu Tianyang, you really think highly of me. If it was before, would definitely choose to escape immediately. But now, killing them is as easy as slaughtering dogs. Qin Feiyang laughed arrogantly, and with the walk formula, he was like a war god, fighting the 4 great divine overlords and the purple-robed middle-aged man by himself, but he did not fall into a disadvantage. The 4 great divine overlords were also shocked to the extreme like the purple-robed middle-aged man. They were all veteran pseudo-gods, but the 5 of them together were still not Qin Feiyang's opponent. Suddenly, the 5 of them looked at each other and retreated at the same time. Divine Emperor Finger, kill. Following closely. The 5 of them raised their arms, and pointed their index fingers in the air. 5 golden light beams suddenly shot out, and charged toward Qin Feiyang. The terrifying destructive power annihilated in all directions. Qin Feiyang was stunned. They actually mastered the same divine art? Divine Emperor Finger, could it be that this was an inherited divine art? However, even if it was an inherited divine art, it was useless. In his palm, the return formula appeared again. The golden light flooded the sky, and rushed toward the 5 light beams. Boom! The 5 light beams and the golden light were in a stalemate in the air for a while, and suddenly turned in the air, like an arrow, and entered the chests of the 4 great divine overlords and the purple-robed middle-aged man. Puff! Immediately. Chapter 1695. The 5 of them were sent flying, their hearts filled with shock. If it could even bounce back, then how heaven-defying was the return formula? Once the 6 words formula is out, who dares to challenge it? Qin Feiyang glanced at the five of them, his face full of contempt. The next moment, the emperor statue appeared, its purple-gold divine light illuminating the sky. Streaks of terrifying emperor aura descended from the sky, enveloping all directions. Under the emperor statue, even the purple-robed middle-aged man, who was also an emperor, could not help but feel terrified. This is the third move of the divine dragon formula, supremacy of the 9 and 5. Quick! The purple-robed middle-aged man shouted, placing his hands in front of his chest to form a seal. The 4 divine marquises did not dare to delay, immediately forming the seal and evolving the strongest deity formula. Rumble. 5 golden square seals were formed in an instant. Divine Emperor Seal, suppression of the heavens. The 5 of them suddenly roared, the 5 golden square seals rushed into the sky and rapidly grew in size. In the blink of an eye, the 5 square seals became 5 deity seals that were hundreds of feet tall, like huge mountains, and pressed down on the emperor statue. In front of my ancestor, everything is just an ant. Qin Feiyang's eyes were incomparably cold. As his voice fell, the emperor statue raised the broken sword and slashed at the 5 deity seals. Rumble. Accompanied by a loud noise, the 5 deity seals were shattered one after another. The broken sword's edge was peerless, tearing the sky, and killing toward the purple-robed middle-aged man and the 4 divine marquises. Mu Tianyang, save us! The 5 of them screamed, frightened out of their wits. In the past, when they heard Mu Qing and Mu Tianyang talk about the divine dragon formula, they did not think much of it. They thought, how powerful could a deity formula created by a junior be? In front of them, Qin Feiyang's ancestor was indeed a junior. After all, even Mu Tianyang was their junior. But they never thought that it would be so ridiculously powerful. However, Mu Tianyang turned a deaf ear to this. The 5 of them were burning with anxiety. Seeing that the broken sword was about to kill, the 5 of them gritted their teeth, releasing a black light from their bodies. Rumble. The broken sword fell. The 5 of them were immediately blasted into the ground below and buried by the mud and rocks. Qin Feiyang smiled coldly. He looked at Mu Tianyang and said, "You are really heartless. You actually watched them die." Hee, Mu Tianyang laughed. "What are you laughing at?" Qin Feiyang frowned. Mu Tianyang said playfully, "Do you really think they're dead?" Qin Feiyang was taken aback. He quickly looked down at the ground. Rumble. With a loud bang, the ground cracked open. The 4 divine overlords and the purple-robed middle-aged man rushed out from the ground. Other than the bloody hole on his body and his wretched appearance, there were no other fatal injuries. What happened? Qin Feiyang was bewildered. Suddenly, his gaze trembled slightly as he recalled the situation when he fought with Mu He. At that time, Mu He suffered a fatal injury, but in the end, he didn't die. And the reason was that Mu He cultivated a divine art called the Body of God and Demon. This Body of God and Demon could be activated once a day and could block a fatal attack. Mu Tianyang, you've gone too far. We have already compromised and let you lead everyone. You still treat us like this? If it wasn't for the Body of God and Demon, we would have died in his hands. The 4 divine overlords and the purple-robed middle-aged man rushed to Mu Tianyang's side and roared angrily. It is indeed the Body of God and Demon. Another inherited deity formula. Qin Feiyang murmured. He was in disbelief. First, it was the divine emperor's finger, then the divine emperor's seal, and now the Body of God and Demon. How many inheritances did the Heavenly Sun Empire leave behind? Mu Tianyang glanced at the 5 of them and said indifferently, "Aren't you all still alive? Why are you roaring?" The 5 of them were furious. However, before the 5 of them could rage, Mu Tianyang turned to look at the Deputy Palace Master and Elder Xiong and said indifferently, "How long are you going to stand there? You have to understand that if the Heavenly Sun Empire is destroyed by Qin Feiyang, the Nether Hall will not be able to escape either." The expressions of the two men changed instantly. Elder Xiong sent a voice transmission. Deputy Palace Master, Mu Tianyang is right. We have to work together to get rid of Qin Feiyang. The Deputy Palace Master glanced at Mu Tianyang and then at Qin Feiyang and made up his mind. In the next moment, 7 figures appeared in front of him. The 7 of them gave off the aura of a false god. One of them was particularly eye-catching. He was about 1.8 meters tall and wore a black mask on his face. He also wore a black robe, making it impossible to see his appearance. However, his identity was extremely shocking. The Netherhall's Palace Master. The Deputy Palace Master and Elder Xiong bowed. Greetings, Palace Master. Palace Master? Qin Feiyang looked at the Netherhall's Palace Master, and his eyes narrowed slightly. He actually felt a sense of danger from this person. At the same time, the Netherhall's Palace Master glanced at Qin Feiyang. His dark eyes were like those of a snake as a bone-piercing cold light flashed past. Then, he retracted his gaze and looked at the Deputy Palace Master and the others. I already know the situation outside. There's no need to explain anymore. Join forces with the Heavenly Sun Empire and get rid of Qin Feiyang. Yes. The Deputy Palace Master and the others replied respectfully. Boom. In the next moment, the group of people unleashed their auras. Their divine might shook heaven and earth as they charged toward Qin Feiyang. However, the Netherhall's Palace Master did not move. He raised his head and stared at Qin Feiyang with flickering eyes. Kill. When the purple-clad middle-aged man saw this, he led the 4 divine marquises and charged toward Qin Feiyang ferociously. There were 5 people from the Heavenly Sun Empire and 8 from the Netherhall. Now, Qin Feiyang had to face 13 false gods. However, his expression did not change. He shifted his gaze from the Netherhall's Palace Master to the purple-clad middle-aged man and the others. There's a path to heaven, but you refuse to take it. There's no door to hell, but you insist on barging in. What a bunch of fools. Qin Feiyang's lips curled up into a mocking smile. The Emperor Divine statue descended from the sky as if a divine king had descended. The broken sword in its hand was extremely sharp as it slashed toward the 13 people. Divine Emperor Seal. Nether Blade. The 13 people looked at each other and quickly performed a divine art. 5 golden divine seals and 8 black blades soared into the sky. The 8 black blades seemed to have been forged from the flesh and blood of a demon god. They released a shocking demon aura. Boom. Clang. The divine seals and blades shot toward the broken sword one after another. Waves of destructive energy rolled out in all directions like a tide. As the last blade slammed into the broken sword shattered with a cracking sound, and the statue also dissipated. Qin Feiyang's body trembled slightly, and a trace of purple-gold dragon blood flowed from the corner of his mouth. The purple-clad middle-aged man sneered, "Your strength is only a so-so." Qin Feiyang said, 13 fake gods working together could only injure me. I really don't know where your sense of superiority comes from. The purple-clad middle-aged man immediately became angry and shouted, "Kill! Tear him into pieces!" The 13 people's auras surged as they shot toward Qin Feiyang like lightning. Ants will always be ants. No matter how many people there are, they can't change your fate today. Qin Feiyang smiled coldly, and a golden light flickered in his palm. However, at this moment, a strong sense of danger came from behind him. Who is it? He was shocked and stepped to the side without hesitation. Immediately afterward, he felt something cold pierce into his back. You're courting death. The sudden sneak attack made him burn with anger. He slapped with his palm. However, this slap did not hit anyone. Instead, it hit the air. That cold thing also left his body. He hurriedly turned his head and saw the Nether Hall Master standing not far away. He held a black dagger stained with purple gold dragon blood in his hand, and his eyes flickered with a strong cold light. Moreover, he could not sense any aura from the Nether Hall Master at all. He was like a ghost. It's him. Qin Feiyang was extremely shocked as he asked, "When did you get behind me?" Before, fortunately, he stepped to the side in time. Otherwise, the dagger in the Nether Hall Master's hand would have pierced his sea of vital energy. The Nether Hall Master did not answer. At this moment, the purple-clad middle-aged man and the others also charged over. He did not have time to think. He immediately turned around and faced the group. "You've completely angered me." Killing intent surged in Qin Feiyang's eyes. He took out the divine phoenix saber and slashed. "That's Ning Mingyi's divine phoenix saber. Why is it with him?" The group's expression changed. The terrifying blade tore through the ground. An elder of the Nether Hall was cut in half on the spot. Blood dyed the sky red. "Retreat!" The purple-clad middle-aged man shouted. "Retreat?" Qin Feiyang smiled coldly. His false god power surged into the divine phoenix saber. With a clang, the divine phoenix saber erupted with boundless divine light. He used the movement character art and chased after the purple-clad middle-aged man. He slashed at the purple-clad middle-aged man's head. Swoosh! However, seeing that the purple-clothed middle-aged man was about to lose his life, the Nether Hall's Hall Master once again appeared soundlessly behind Qin Feiyang. The dagger in his hand went straight for Qin Feiyang's sea of vital energy. "I've been waiting for you for a long time." Qin Feiyang smiled coldly. He used the movement character art and instantly appeared behind the Nether Hall Master. He raised the divine phoenix saber and slashed at the Nether Hall Master's neck. A trace of surprise appeared in the Nether Hall Master's eyes. However, he was not nervous at all. His figure flashed and disappeared in front of Qin Feiyang. The divine phoenix saber missed. Qin Feiyang raised his eyebrows and muttered, "Is this teleportation?" However, in the next moment, a strong sense of danger attacked him from behind again. "What? You ran behind me again?" Qin Feiyang had a look of disbelief on his face. This person's speed was too fast. Most importantly, this person was just like the spirit snake, spirit demon scorpion, and spirit demon spider. He had no aura at all. It was impossible to predict what he would do next. In the nick of time, Qin Feiyang used the movement character art and dodged. A trace of anger appeared in the Nether Hall Master's eyes. Obviously, Qin Feiyang dodged his sneak attacks again and again. He could not help but feel annoyed. "You want to compete in speed? Alright, I'll play with you. Let's see who's faster." Qin Feiyang turned around and smiled coldly at the Nether Hall Master. He used the movement character art and took the initiative to attack. "In this world, no one can compete in speed with me. It's the same even if you have the movement character art." The Nether Hall Master snorted coldly. Then, the two of them flickered continuously in the void. They did not even leave behind afterimages. The purple-clad middle-aged man and the others retreated to the void in the distance. Their faces were filled with shock. This was because they realized that they could not even catch a trace of Qin Feiyang and the Nether Hall Master. Chapter 1696. Bang! Bang! Clang! While the two of them were competing in speed, they were also exchanging blows. Every time the divine phoenix saber and the dagger clashed, dazzling sparks would appear. The fact that the Nether Hall Master's dagger could fight against the divine phoenix saber without showing any signs of breaking was enough to prove that the dagger in his hand was also a divine weapon. Moreover, its grade was similar to the divine phoenix saber. Clang! 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 About 100 breaths later. Suddenly, accompanied by a muffled groan, Qin Feiyang and the Nether Hall Master appeared in the air at almost the same time. The two of them stood facing each other. Qin Feiyang held the divine phoenix saber. The tip of the divine phoenix saber had already sunk into the Nether Hall Master's chest. Blood was dripping down the blade. The Nether Hall Master's arm was hanging by his side. He was still holding the dagger in his hand. He looked at Qin Feiyang. Even though his life was at stake, his expression did not change at all. "You've lost," Qin Feiyang said. "Yes, I've lost," the Nether Hall Master replied. "Submit to me," Qin Feiyang said. "Why?" the Nether Hall Master said. "Because I'm stronger than you. Because I can help you remove the demon mark," Qin Feiyang said. "Remove the demon mark?" The Nether Hall Master's eyes trembled slightly. His gaze that had never changed finally changed. At the same time, hearing Qin Feiyang's words, the purple-clad middle-aged man, the Vice Palace Master, and the others were extremely shocked. Had they misheard? Qin Feiyang could remove the demon mark? Your cultivation has already reached stage 10. Once the demon mark is removed, you'll immediately become a true war god. Who in the world doesn't want to become a war god? You have this opportunity, but it depends on whether you want to cherish it or not, Qin Feiyang said indifferently. The Nether Hall Master remained silent. He stared into Qin Feiyang's eyes as if he was trying to see if Qin Feiyang was lying to him. "Palace Master, don't listen to him. He doesn't have this ability," the Vice Palace Master suddenly said. "That's right. The giant python once told us that only the Creator and the Beast God can come into contact with the Devil imprint," the purple-clothed middle-aged man shouted. However, the Nether Hall's Hall Master turned a deaf ear to him and continued to stare at Qin Feiyang. Qin Feiyang said indifferently, "I don't want to say too much. It's all up to you." The Nether Hall's Hall Master suddenly retreated. Blood spurted out from the wound on his chest. "It seems that this is your choice." Qin Feiyang swung his divine phoenix blade, and his entire body exuded a monstrous killing intent as he slashed at the Nether Hall's Hall Master. Saber light swept through the sky. The Nether Pavilion's master flickered and instantly vanished. "Let's go and create an opportunity for the Hall Master," the Vice Palace Master roared. Boom! The 13 of them attacked again. Their terrifying divine arts shook the heavens. Whoosh! However, at this moment, the Nether Hall's Hall Master suddenly appeared beside the purple-clothed middle-aged man. "Be careful." Mu Tianyang's complexion changed as he hastily shouted. "Careful of what?" The purple-clothed middle-aged man and the others were puzzled. However, in the next moment, an unbelievable scene appeared. The Nether Hall's Hall Master grabbed a dagger and stabbed it into the purple-clothed middle-aged man's lower abdomen. "Ah!" The purple-clothed middle-aged man immediately howled in pain. "Bastard, what are you doing?" The 4 divine marquises roared as they raised their arms and slapped at the Nether Hall's Hall Master. The Nether Hall's Hall Master pulled out the dagger and instantly appeared several miles away. His eyes were as cold as ever. The 4 divine marquises hastily protected the purple-clothed middle-aged man behind them. "Hall Master, what are you doing?" The Vice Palace Master, Elder Xiong, and the others all looked at the Nether Hall's Hall Master in shock. Humph. At this moment, Mu Tianyang coldly snorted as he landed beside the purple-clothed middle-aged man. He glanced at the purple-clothed middle-aged man's condition before looking at the Vice Palace Master and the others. Isn't it obvious? He's already prepared to side with Qin Feiyang. What? Hall Master, you can't possibly believe Qin Feiyang's nonsense, right? Elder Xiong's eyes trembled as he asked. The Nether Hall's Hall Master remained silent. The Vice Palace Master said angrily, "Hall Master, have you forgotten? Qin Feiyang acted against our Nether Hall. The second elder even self-destructed because of this, yet you're actually siding with him? How disappointing." "Yeah. If the second elder hadn't self-destructed, all of us would have died at his hands. Are we really going to let such a blood feud go just like that?" The Nether Hall's Grand Elder roared. The third elder, fourth elder, and Elder Xiong were furious as well. Elder Xiong was the fifth elder of the Nether Hall. At that time, they were ordered to capture the willow tree, but they were killed instead. It was the second elder who had self-destructed that allowed them to escape with their lives. They had always held a grudge against the second elder for this matter. However, the Nether Hall's Hall Master had never said a word. Those who didn't know him would think that he was a mute. Everyone, the Hall Master has made up his mind. There's no need to persuade him anymore. The Vice Palace Master looked at the elders as he spoke, and then he looked at the Nether Hall's Hall Master and said, "Hall Master, this is the last time I'm calling you Hall Master. From today onward, you're no longer the leader of our Nether Hall." Vice Palace Master, isn't this too rash? The Hall Master might have been muddle-headed for a moment. Try to persuade him again. Elder Xiong said anxiously. Didn't you see? He's already made up his mind to follow Qin Feiyang. What's the point of persuading him? The Vice Palace Master roared. Elder Xiong's eyes trembled. From today onward, I'm the Hall Master of the Nether Hall. All of you have to listen to my orders. The Vice Palace Master said. This. The elders exchanged glances. What? You're not convinced? The Vice Palace Master raised his brows. We wouldn't dare. The elders hurriedly lowered their heads. Don't worry, I won't betray the Nether Hall like he did. I'll definitely settle the blood feud with the second elder with Qin Feiyang. The Vice Palace Master said murderously. The elders exchanged glances and smiled. Then, they bowed and said, Greetings, Hall Master. Ha! The Vice Palace Master raised his head and laughed. Then, he looked at the Nether Hall Master and said, Tang Hai, from today onward, we're enemies. Take care of yourself. So, his name is Tang Hai. Qin Feiyang muttered to himself as he turned to look at Tang Hai. There was only one word to describe this person, profound. Previously, Tang Hai had retreated. Qin Feiyang had thought that Tang Hai would continue fighting him. Qin Feiyang had already planned to kill Tang Hai. However, he had not expected Tang Hai to attack the purple-clad middle-aged man without saying anything. Now, the Vice Palace Master had snatched the Nether Hall Master's position in front of Tang Hai. If it were anyone else, they would have already attacked the Vice Palace Master. However, Tang Hai did not seem to care at all. His expression did not change at all. No one could guess what he was thinking. Originally, Qin Feiyang should have been happy when he saw Tang Hai's actions. However, he could not be happy now. In fact, he was even more wary of Tang Hai. The reason was that he could not see through Tang Hai. He did not know if Tang Hai was really going to follow him. Or was he just putting on an act in front of him to make him careless and then attack him? As a result, he did not dare to move now. The scene fell into dead silence. Suddenly, Tang Hai disappeared again. In an instant, he landed beside the Vice Palace Master and mercilessly stabbed his dagger into the Vice Palace Master's chi. Ah! The Vice Palace Master's cultivation was crippled on the spot. Elder Xiong quickly supported the Vice Palace Master. The Vice Palace Master looked at the wound on his lower abdomen and immediately roared in exasperation. Did you see that? He even attacked me. He has completely betrayed us. Elder Xiong roared angrily, Tang Hai, you bastard. We'll break off all ties with you. Qin Feiyang looked at Tang Hai with flickering eyes. Suddenly, he took a step forward, held the divine phoenix saber, and charged toward Mu Tianyang and the others. Qin Feiyang, I'll fight you to the death. The Nether Pavilion's third elder let out a fierce roar and charged towards Qin Feiyang like a mad beast. Boom! In the next moment, his physical body exploded in the void. A wave of qi that could destroy the world suddenly emerged, and spread out in all directions, covering the sky and covering the earth. Qin Feiyang's expression changed. Mu Tianyang, the four divine marquises, and the purple-clad middle-aged man were also shocked. Even Elder Xiong and the others from the Nether Pavilion, including Tang Hai, did not expect the third elder to self-destruct. The group of people were caught off guard. The destructive energy instantly drowned them. After Qin Feiyang came to his senses, he immediately activated his armor, turned around, and fled. With the dual defense of the armor, the battle formula, and the travel formula, he was soon out of danger. Tang Hai once again displayed that strange speed, disappearing without a trace like lightning. At the same time, Mu Tianyang did not dare to delay for a moment. He immediately led the 4 divine marquises, the purple-clad middle-aged man, and the people from the Nether Pavilion into the spatial divine item. In the blink of an eye, there was not even a shadow left. Only the ancient castle and the blood blade were still fighting in the sky. Rumble. Crack. This was not the first time a fake god self-destructed. It was not an exaggeration to say that it was destructive. A large part of the void was destroyed. The earth was even more fragmented. The air was filled with a tragic atmosphere. In the distance, Qin Feiyang stood in the void, his eyes filled with fear. Even with the dual defense of the armor and the battle formula, his body was still covered in blood. I've never trusted someone. This is the first time. Don't let me down. Suddenly, a cold voice sounded behind him. Qin Feiyang shuddered and hurriedly turned his head to see Tang Hai standing 3 meters behind him. His eyes were like the god of death, with a ruthless coldness. For Tang Hai, this distance was enough to end a person's life in an instant. At this moment, Tang Hai's body was also covered in wounds, like a bloody man. The mask on his face was also shattered, but it was not completely broken, so it was impossible to see his true face. Thank you for your trust. I swear in the name of my ancestors that I'm not lying to you. But next time, can you not suddenly appear behind me? Qin Feiyang was quite angry. A person could scare another to death if they tried to scare another. But Tang Hai was silent. He looked up at the ancient castle and the blood blade, his eyes dead silent. Qin Feiyang raised his eyebrows and also looked up at the ancient castle and the blood blade. After fighting for so long, the blood blade was still not at a disadvantage. This was enough to show that this item was really a heaven-defying artifact, and it was not inferior to the ancient castle. However, Chapter 1697. Suddenly, Tang Hai, who was silent, said, "The ancient castle did not activate the power of law. Is it because it is afraid that both sides will be injured?" Both sides will be injured? Qin Feiyang frowned. On the surface, the blood blade and the ancient castle were indeed neck and neck. But, in his heart, he always believed that the ancient castle would be stronger than the blood blade. Because all along, the ancient castle had never disappointed him. In his eyes, the ancient castle was omnipotent. So when he heard Tang Hai's words, he was somewhat unable to accept it. Even if this blood blade was also a heaven-defying divine artifact, there were still differences in strength between heaven-defying divine artifacts. He did not believe that this blood blade could really be compared to the ancient castle. I believe you. Qin Feiyang looked at the ancient castle and muttered, then retracted his gaze, activated the walk word art, and rushed towards the place where the third elder exploded. As long as the blood blade was still there, Mu Tianyang was still there. This person, no matter what, must stay today. The power of the self-explosion had dissipated a lot. With the double defense of the armor and the battle word art, he could barely withstand it. But Tang Hai still did not dare to enter. Qin Feiyang rushed to the location of the explosion alone, scanning the surrounding void, his eyes incomparably sharp. Although he could enter the center of the explosion, he did not dare to release his divine sense. Because the battle word art and the armor could only protect his physical body, not his divine sense. Once released, there was a 100% chance that it would be instantly shattered. Young master, subordinate has already subdued Shen Bao. Suddenly, a familiar voice sounded in Qin Feiyang's mind. Old Zhao? Qin Feiyang stared blankly for a moment before a sneer flashed across his eyes. He looked at the empty space and said indifferently, Mu Tianyang, I'll give you one last chance. Come out and accept your death immediately. What a big tone. Inside the spatial divine object. The 4 divine marquises, the deputy palace master, the purple-clothed middle-aged man, and the elders gathered behind Mu Tianyang, looking at Qin Feiyang in the image in front of them, their faces full of ridicule. Can't be careless. Mu Tianyang raised his eyebrows. What is it? Don't tell me he can still kill his way in? The vice palace master said. If it were anyone else, I wouldn't even care about those words. But he is Qin Feiyang. As long as it's something Qin Feiyang says, we can't take it lightly. Mu Tianyang said in a deep voice. The deputy palace master frowned and said, You're overthinking it. Shut up. Mu Tianyang turned to look at the vice palace master and said gloomily, How long have you been in contact with Qin Feiyang? Do you know him as well as I do? The vice hall master frowned as a vicious look flashed across his face. Obviously. He was very dissatisfied with Mu Tianyang's attitude. After all, no matter what, he was the Nether Pavilion's master now. Scolding him in front of so many people was clearly not giving him any face. However, even if Mu Tianyang realized this point, he did not change his attitude either. He said with a cold snort, This monarch is telling you, if you dare to have the slightest bit of carelessness when exchanging blows with Qin Feiyang, you will die without a burial ground. Are you really not coming out? Then don't regret it. Outside. Qin Feiyang's voice sounded again. Mu Tianyang hurriedly looked over and saw a familiar figure appear beside Qin Feiyang out of thin air. It's Zhao Tai from the Vanga League. The vice palace master and the others were shocked. Outside. Qin Feiyang smiled and said, Old Zhao, they must still be here. Lock onto them immediately. Yes. Zhao Tai nodded. His godly aura burst out. Immediately after. Divine will emerged and covered all directions. They're still here. Zhao Tai's eyes flashed with a hint of a smile. Divine power surged out and a barrier instantly appeared. Lu Xingqian's space divine item was immediately trapped in the barrier. How is this possible, inside the space divine item? Whether it was Mu Tianyang or the vice palace master and the others, they all looked at Zhao Tai in disbelief. It was actually divine power. This must be a dream. How could Zhao Tai break through to War God? However, the truth was right in front of them. It was indeed divine power and divine power. Could it be, Qin Feiyang did not lie to them? He could really remove the devil mark? Whoosh! At the same time, accompanied by the sound of something breaking through the air, Tang Hai risked being killed by the remaining power and rushed over. Looking at Zhao Tai's back, his cold eyes gradually filled with tears. This was caused by excitement. Zhao Tai's breakthrough to War God was enough to prove that the devil mark had been removed. How many years? Even he himself could not remember how many years he had been troubled by the devil mark. At the same time, because of the devil mark, he had suffered and suffered, spending his days in pain and despair. Now, he finally saw hope. How could he not be excited? But very soon, the tears in his eyes dissipated and were replaced by coldness. Qin Feiyang scanned the divine power enchantment, a cold light shooting out from his eyes, and said, Shatter his space divine item. Yes. Zhao Tai nodded. The divine power was like a waterfall, blasting towards the space divine item. Rumble. However, after a while, the space divine item did not shatter. Zhao Tai raised his eyebrows and said in a low voice, Young master, this person's space divine item is not low level. With this subordinate's current strength, I'm afraid it will be difficult to shatter it. Try it. Qin Feiyang waved his hand, and the phoenix god blade flew in front of Zhao Tai. Zhao Tailai's eyes lit up. As a former subordinate of Ning Mingi, it could be said that he knew the power of the Phoenix God Blade better than Qin Feiyang. As long as Mu Tianyang's space divine item was not at the same level as the ancient castle, it could definitely be split open. He grabbed the Phoenix God Blade and poured his divine power into it. Clang! The Phoenix God Blade immediately shook and released a world-destroying power. Divine power and the power of a pseudo-god were two completely different concepts. Using the power of a pseudo-god to revive a divine weapon, no matter how many pseudo-gods there were, they would not be able to fully revive it. But divine power could. Moreover, even if it was only Zhao Tailai, he could still revive the power of the Phoenix God Blade to the extreme. As a large amount of divine power poured in, the aura and sharpness of the Phoenix God Blade became more and more terrifying. Chirp! All of a sudden, a huge fire phoenix rushed out from the Phoenix God Blade. The world suddenly turned into a big oven. The fire phoenix had appeared. This was the full power of the Phoenix God Blade. It could be described as destroying the heavens and earth. Mu Tianyang, what do we do now? The Vice Palace Master and the others, the 4 divine marquises, and the purple-robed middle-aged man all looked at Mu Tianyang with fear. War God. A war god had appeared. Even if there were hundreds or thousands of pseudo-gods, they would not be enough to kill Zhao Tailai, let alone a dozen or so pseudo-gods. Not to mention, in Zhao Tailai's hands, there was still a divine weapon that had given birth to a spirit. Mu Tianyang clenched his fists, his palms sweating as he stared at the scene in front of him in silence. Although his facial features could not be seen clearly, it was not difficult to see from his clenched fists that he was very nervous at this moment. Shatter for me. Outside. Zhao Tailai roared as he raised the Phoenix God Blade and slashed in the air. A terrifying blade light suddenly tore through the sky and slashed towards the space divine item. Swoosh! At this moment, Mu Tianyang appeared out of thin air and immediately waved his hand. Clang! The blood blade that collided with the ancient castle in the sky immediately dropped the ancient castle and broke through the air. In an instant, the blood blade was placed in front of Mu Tianyang. The blade light struck the blood blade and with a loud bang, the ground was crazily shattered. However, the blade light was instantly disintegrated. Zhao Tailai's gaze trembled as he stared at the blood blade in shock and said, "Young master, what kind of divine weapon is this?" "A heaven-defying divine weapon." Qin Feiyang's face darkened. Boom! The ancient castle also carried a terrifying aura as it descended above Qin Feiyang's head. Mu Tianyang glanced at Zhao Tailai, then looked at Qin Feiyang and said, "Brother Qin, is there a need for us to fight to the death?" "Of course." Qin Feiyang's eyes were filled with killing intent as he shouted, "Old Zhao, kill!" He grabbed the ancient castle and used the Xing character art to attack Mu Tianyang. Mu Tianyang immediately grabbed the dagger and faced Qin Feiyang. Clang! The 2 divine weapons collided and sparks flew everywhere. Both of them retreated a few feet. However, Qin Feiyang still had a helper. Zhao Tailai held the Phoenix God Blade and took the opportunity to rush to Mu Tianyang's side and slashed with his blade. Boom! Mu Tianyang's real body immediately collapsed, and the Phoenix God Blade's light shattered a large portion of his divine sense. There were at least a few hundred strands. Mu Tianyang was furious. He roared, "You're courting death." His divine sense wrapped around the blood blade and attacked Zhao Tailai like a venomous snake. Zhao Tailai did not take it head-on and retreated quickly. The blood blade was too terrifying and could very well destroy the Phoenix God Blade. At the same time that Mu Tianyang attacked Zhao Tailai, Qin Feiyang's eyes flashed coldly. He used the Xing character art and rushed behind Mu Tianyang. He raised the ancient castle and smashed it on Mu Tianyang's divine sense. Boom! Another few hundred strands of divine sense were destroyed on the spot. Mu Tianyang was furious. He roared, Qin Feiyang, are you done yet? Not yet. Qin Feiyang smiled coldly and joined forces with Zhao Tailai to destroy more than 2,000 strands of Mu Tianyang's divine sense. Mu Tianyang was about to condense his divine sense. Right now, his divine sense had already reached more than 90,000 strands. More than 2,000 strands of divine sense, compared to more than 90,000 strands of divine sense, was actually nothing. But he was afraid. Because if this continued, his divine sense would be destroyed by Qin Feiyang sooner or later. But now, with Zhao Tailai, he did not dare to hide in the spatial divine object. Because he was not confident that the spatial divine object could withstand the bombardment of the Phoenix God Blade. He did not dare to let the 4 divine marquises come out to help. Because Zhao Tailai alone was enough to kill all of them. Could it be that I, Mu Tianyang, have really walked on the path? He was unwilling. Back then, Qin Feiyang was like a grasshopper in his eyes. But now, he was being forced into a desperate situation by Qin Feiyang. No. I can't die. Blood Blade, quickly activate your power of law. Mu Tianyang roared. Clang. The blood blade suddenly trembled, and an invisible force suddenly rolled out in all directions. Power of law, Qin Feiyang muttered. What kind of power of law did this blood blade possess? The invisible force was earth-shattering, covering tens of thousands of miles. Qin Feiyang, Zhao Tailai, and Tang Hai were also enveloped by this power of law. At first, they did not notice anything unusual. But soon, they found that their bodies were slowly shrinking and becoming shorter. Zhao Tailai was the most obvious. The wrinkles on his face were gradually smoothed out, and his skin slowly became glossy. Chapter 1698. What's going on? Zhao Tailai was stunned. This seems to be rejuvenation. Qin Feiyang was suspicious. Rejuvenation? Zhao Tailai was slightly stunned and puzzled. Is this the power of the law? Even if it is, it doesn't seem to be scary. Idiot. Rejuvenation, this is one of the power of the law, time reversal. Qin Feiyang suddenly thought of a mysterious voice in his mind. Qin Feiyang was stunned and said to himself, who exactly are you? He had heard this voice before. Last time when he fought with the main tower, this mysterious voice appeared. At that time, this person told him that his destiny was to fight with heaven, earth, and the rules of this world. He also said that he was waiting for him to work hard to grow. Because this was too strange, Qin Feiyang had always remembered this voice. Unexpectedly, this mysterious voice appeared again. Don't worry about who I am. Time reversal is not to rejuvenate you, but to bring you step by step to your death. Didn't you notice? Your current cultivation is also beginning to regress. The mysterious voice said. Cultivation regress. Qin Feiyang was stunned and quickly sensed his own cultivation. At that moment, his face changed dramatically. Sure enough, as the mysterious voice said, his cultivation was quietly retreating. Looking at Zhao Tailai and Tang Hai, it was the same. Age, cultivation, they will continue to regress with the power of the law until finally, you will return to a newborn baby and then completely disappear from the world. This is time reversal. The mysterious voice said. Qin Feiyang's eyes trembled and said anxiously, then is there any way to break it? The way is by your side. Hurry up and work hard, I'm waiting for you to grow. After the mysterious voice finished speaking, it was depressed and never sounded again. He said this again. Qin Feiyang frowned. Last time, the last sentence that the mysterious person said was to hurry up and work hard, I'm waiting for you to grow. This time it was again. What was the relationship between this mysterious person and him? Why was he waiting for him? Why was she waiting for him? He didn't have time to think about it. He glanced around and pondered the mysterious man's words. The way to break the time reversal was right beside him, suddenly. He raised his head and looked at the castle, his eyes flashing. That was right. It must be the castle. Time reversed, time stood still. Yes, yes, yes. It was the castle. It was as if he was suddenly enlightened. The Bloodblade's power of law was to reverse time, while the ancient castle's power of law was to stop time. Once time came to a standstill, time could no longer be reversed, and Bloodblade's power of laws would collapse on its own. Castle, please. In the blink of an eye. Qin Feiyang hurriedly exclaimed. Clang. The ancient castle trembled in the void, releasing a deafening sound. Following closely. Waves of invisible energy gushed out. Immediately. Everything here was motionless. My cultivation, what's going on? Zhao Tailai also finally noticed the abnormality in his cultivation base. Furthermore, he was just a hair away from falling to the semi-divinity realm. The Bloodblade's power of law is to reverse time, Qin Feiyang briefly explained. So that's how it is. When Zhao Tailai heard this, he couldn't help but break out in a cold sweat. If it weren't for the castle's timely action, he would have fallen off the altar. Tang Hai, who was behind him, couldn't help but feel a chill in his heart. To be able to stop time and even reverse time, the power of these laws was truly terrifying. Zhao Tailai exhaled, looked at Mu Tianyang opposite him, and asked, Is Mu Tianyang frozen now? He should have been frozen. Qin Feiyang said, looking up at Mu Tianyang, only to see Mu Tianyang standing motionless in the void, looking at the castle with eyes full of disbelief. How is this possible? However, before Qin Feiyang's voice faded, Mu Tianyang's exclamation sounded. Not frozen? Qin Feiyang was stunned. Mu Tianyang retracted his gaze, looked at Qin Feiyang, and exclaimed, So this is the ancient castle's power of law, it's really powerful, but, speaking of this, the corner of his mouth raised, with a hint of ridicule. But what? Qin Feiyang raised his eyebrows. The power of law, mutually reinforcing and restraining each other. Although your castle can restrain my Bloodblade, it is also because of the Bloodblade's power of law. The ancient castle's power of law can't stop us. Mu Tianyang sneered. Qin Feiyang frowned. You're powerful, but I'm not a pushover either. We'll settle this score in the future. Mu Tianyang smiled coldly and immediately took the Bloodblade into the spatial divine object. Without the Bloodblade as an opponent, the ancient castle's power of law also dissipated and swept into Qin Feiyang's forehead, disappearing. Old Zhao! Qin Feiyang shouted. Zhao Tailai nodded and released his divine sense. But at the same time, the Netherhall's deputy hall master and several elders appeared. The group of people was stunned, but when they saw Qin Feiyang and the other two, they immediately showed a look of panic. Die! Zhao Tailai shouted and killed the group of people without hesitation. Don't kill them! Qin Feiyang hurriedly shouted. But it was too late. The group of people, who had already fallen into a state of panic, immediately self-destructed when they saw that Zhao Tailai was about to kill them. Boom! The destructive aura made even Zhao Tailai, a war god, feel the threat of death. This was because the moment a false god self-destructed, its power reached the level of a war god. It could be said that at this moment, even an early-stage war god like Zhao Tailai would be fatally injured. Qin Feiyang didn't dare to hesitate at all. He took Zhao Tailai, Tang Hai, and the ancient castle and entered the Black Tortoise world. The Black Tortoise world, Tang Hai scanned the familiar land and was filled with emotions. After going around and around, he ended up back in this place. Zhao Tailai looked at Qin Feiyang and asked suspiciously, Young master, why didn't you kill them? Are you trying to subdue them? I'm not trying to subdue them. Qin Feiyang sighed. If you're not trying to subdue them, then what are you trying to do? Zhao Tailai was puzzled. Looking at their expressions when they appeared, it was obvious that they were thrown out by Mu Tianyang from the spatial divine item when they were caught off guard. Mu Tianyang did this because he wanted to use these people to buy time for himself to escape. He also knew that when we saw these people appear, we would immediately kill them. And in desperation, one of them would definitely self-destruct. That's why I stopped you. Because these people are nothing to worry about now. We can kill them after we kill Mu Tianyang. But now, because of your attack, one of them was so scared that he self-destructed. We can't chase after Mu Tianyang anymore. Qin Feiyang said. So that's how it is. Zhao Tailai suddenly understood and blamed himself. Young master, I'm really sorry. Just now, I thought that they appeared to deal with us, so I didn't think so much and directly attacked them. It's okay. Qin Feiyang waved his hand. In fact, Zhao Tailai couldn't be blamed for this. Because the situation before was a very sudden situation, and it was difficult for ordinary people to react. You're the master of the Black Tortoise Realm, so you can control the Black Tortoise Realm to chase after them. Tang Hai suddenly said. Even if we chase after them, we need to know the direction they escaped in. To do this, we can only go out and search with our divine sense. But it's too late to go out now. Qin Feiyang shook his head and sighed. Tang Hai nodded. Although it hadn't been long since the self-destruction, with Mu Tianyang's speed, he must have escaped tens of thousands of miles away. Moreover, with Mu Tianyang's cautious character, he definitely wouldn't keep running in one direction. Since they couldn't know the direction Mu Tianyang escaped, there was naturally no way to chase after him. Zhao Tailai blamed himself more and more. He couldn't wait to go out now and turn the ancient world upside down. He looked at Qin Feiyang and said unwillingly, Young master, let me go out and see if I can find another opportunity. The self-destruction of a fake god. Only at the moment of self-destruction, when the power was at its strongest, could it seriously injure an early-stage war god like Zhao Tailai. And after the self-destruction, the power would gradually weaken, so it naturally couldn't hurt Zhao Tailai. Go out? Qin Feiyang was stunned and shook his head. I already said that I don't blame you, why are you still blaming yourself? In fact, even without this accident, it's almost impossible for us to kill Mu Tianyang. Qin Feiyang added. Because of that blood blade? Zhao Tailai asked. I never thought that this person would hide so deeply. A divine weapon with the power of law, I underestimated him in the past. Qin Feiyang sighed. Hearing this, Zhao Tailai felt a little better. Qin Feiyang exhaled and waved his hand, and an image appeared in the void in front of them. Looking at the scene in the image, Qin Feiyang and Zhao Tailai were stunned. In the image, the deputy temple master and several elders stood together in a sorry state, looking around in horror. Their bodies were dripping with blood. Zhao Tailai was surprised. Why aren't they dead? It's because of the space divine item. Tang Hai suddenly said. Space divine item? The two turned to look at Tang Hai. Yes. Because I'm comprehending a divine art, the space divine item has always been under the deputy temple master's control. When the self-destruction happened just now, he must have brought the elders into the space divine item and avoided the fatal blow. But I think the space divine item should have been shattered. Tang Hai said. Shattered? Qin Feiyang was stunned. My space divine item can't be compared to your ancient castle. It's just a very ordinary space divine item, and can only be regarded as a semi-finished product. It can't withstand such a violent bombardment. Tang Hai said. I see. Qin Feiyang nodded in realization. While the three of them were talking, the deputy temple master and several elders in the image looked around and fled toward the southeast. Let's go out and take a look. Qin Feiyang smiled mockingly and drove the Black Tortoise Realm to chase after them. Then, he brought Zhao Tailai and Tang Hai out of the Black Tortoise Realm and stood in front of the group. Qin Feiyang. Seeing the three of them suddenly appear, the deputy temple master and the others were immediately scared out of their wits and collapsed on the ground. You're not dead even after that, you're really lucky. Chapter 1699. Plop. The group of people immediately knelt on the ground, trembling, their faces full of fear. Elder Xiong looked at Tang Hai and begged, "Palace Master, please save us." However, Tang Hai turned a deaf ear, his expression extremely cold. It's useless to ask anyone for help. Zhao Tailai sneered, murderous intent surging in his eyes. Wait. Qin Feiyang reached out to stop Zhao Tailai, looked at Elder Xiong and asked, "Where are the others from the Nether Hall?" "They're all in Mu Tianyang's space divine item," Elder Xiong said. Qin Feiyang frowned and said, "Why are the people of the Nether Hall in Mu Tianyang's space divine item?" "Our space divine item is too small, it can only hold 20 or 30 people, so after coming to the ancient world, we let the others stay in Mu Tianyang's space divine item. First of all, Mu Tianyang's space divine item has a time array, it can help everyone improve their cultivation as soon as possible. Second of all, his space divine item is of a higher grade, if there's any danger, it can protect everyone," Elder Xiong said in detail. Qin Feiyang said, "So, other than you elders, the others are in Mu Tianyang's hands?" "Yes." Elder Xiong nodded. "How many people does the Nether Hall have in total, and how many combat emperors?" Qin Feiyang said. "The Nether Hall has a total of 500,000 people, and about 50,000 combat emperors. Among them, there are more than 5,000 9-star combat emperors, and more than 1,000 9-star combat emperors at the peak," Elder Xiong said. "More than 5,000 9-star combat emperors, and more than 1,000 9-star combat emperors at the peak. This Mu Tianyang really got a good deal." Qin Feiyang harumphed coldly. "Yes. He'll definitely put all of them under his command. With the time array, it won't be long before more false gods are born around him." Zhao Tailai sighed. "How can it be that easy? Besides, even if they all reach the semi-divinity realm, they won't pose any threat to us," Qin Feiyang said. "That's true. As long as the demon imprint is not removed, they will not be able to step into the war god realm. A false god who can't step into the war god realm will never be a threat to us." Zhao Tailai smiled. Qin Feiyang nodded and smiled. He looked at Elder Xiong and said, "Last question, where is Wang Yuanshan?" Elder Xiong hurriedly said, "He is also hiding in Mu Tianyang's spatial divine object." Qin Feiyang stared blankly for a moment before he chuckled and said, "It seems that I don't need to do anything. His end will be very miserable." He knew very well what kind of person Mu Tianyang was. If the giant python and the fire dragon were still here, he definitely wouldn't dare to act recklessly. However, now that the giant python was dead and the fire dragon couldn't even protect himself, he no longer had any worries. Wang Yuanshan's end would definitely be the same as the others from the Nether Hall, becoming Mu Tianyang's prisoner or even cannon fodder. "My lord, please spare us. We will follow you like the Hall Master. Look, we are all false gods. We will definitely be of help to you." Elder Xiong looked at Qin Feiyang and begged. The others also had begging expressions. The Vice Hall Master was the same. "False gods? With a war god like old Zhao helping me, do you think I still need false gods like you? Besides, Tang Hai will also step into the war god realm soon." "Of course. If you had made the same decision as Tang Hai, I definitely wouldn't have killed you. Unfortunately, you continue to choose to go against me. Especially you." Qin Feiyang's gaze landed on the Vice Hall Master and said, "Have you been eyeing the position of the Nether Hall's Hall Master for a long time?" The Vice Hall Master panicked. He glanced at Tang Hai and shook his head, "I haven't." "You haven't?" Qin Feiyang shook his head and smiled, "If that's the case, why did you announce that you're going to succeed the position of Hall Master in front of Tang Hai?" The Vice Hall Master stammered, "I was angry, yes, I was angry. I saw the Hall Master betraying everyone, so I did those stupid things in a fit of anger." "Is that so?" Qin Feiyang looked at him playfully. Yes, yes, yes. The Vice Hall Master nodded. Shut up. Qin Feiyang yelled and sneered, what kind of person haven't I seen in this world? Even though I don't know you, I can tell you're a typical hypocrite just by looking at your behavior. I'm not. The Vice Hall Master roared. Whoosh. But suddenly, Tang Hai silently appeared behind the Vice Palace Master and coldly said, Qin Feiyang doesn't understand you, but I do. Since a long time ago, I had already seen that you were an ambitious person. It was only because I saw that you still had some value that I didn't make a move on you. Hall Master, the Vice Hall Master's eyes trembled. He quickly turned to Tang Hai and wanted to explain. But Tang Hai didn't give him a chance to explain. Just as the Vice Hall Master turned around, he grabbed the dagger and stabbed it into the Vice Hall Master's skull. Crack. The skull shattered. The dagger went straight to the Vice Hall Master's sea of consciousness, shattering his soul on the spot. Ah! With a blood-curdling scream, the Deputy Palace Master died on the spot. Hall Master, we know we're wrong, please don't kill us. Looking at this scene, Elder Xiong and the others couldn't help but tremble and turn pale. Whoosh! Tang Hai's expression was as cold as ever. In a flash, he appeared in front of Elder Xiong. With a light swing of the dagger, Elder Xiong's head fell to the ground. He's gone crazy. We can't just sit here and wait for death. Even if we die, we have to drag him down with us. One of the elders roared and a destructive aura rushed out of his body. Obviously, he was going to self-destruct. Humph. Do you think I'll give you the chance to self-destruct? Zhao Tailai snorted coldly and a terrifying pressure rolled out. The group of people was immediately imprisoned there. In fact, even his bloodline power had been sealed up by Zhang Xian. They couldn't even move their brows. Tang Hai raised his hand and the dagger revealed a peerless edge. Bang bang bang. One by one, heads rolled to the ground. Bang. In the end, a few headless corpses fell to the ground and blood spurted out. Qin Feiyang glanced at Elder Xiong and the others, then looked at Tang Hai and said, You're quite ruthless. A great man must be ruthless. If you want to achieve great things, you have to be ruthless. Tang Hai said. Accompanied by a loud laugh, the inner demons appeared from the inner world and looked at Tang Hai, not bad, you're to my liking. Qin Feiyang's face darkened and said angrily, Why did you come out to join in the fun? Such a good talent, if I don't come out, what if you kill him? The inner demons laughed. Did I say I was going to kill him? Qin Feiyang rolled his eyes. The inner demons said impatiently, Cut the crap, I like this person very much. Train him well in the future. Do I need you to tell me that? Qin Feiyang glared at him, then looked at Zhao Tailai and said, Go guard the entrance immediately. No matter what happens, don't let Mu Tianyang sneak out of the ancient realm. Yes. Zhao Tailai bowed and then returned the Phoenix God blade to Qin Feiyang. Qin Feiyang said, You keep it first. This, Zhao Tailai's face was filled with shock. Qin Feiyang said with a smile, I'm just lending it to you temporarily. When you find a suitable divine artifact, you have to return it to me. Thank you, young master. Zhao Tailai quickly bowed and thanked him. Go. Qin Feiyang waved his hand. This subordinate will not disappoint you and guard the entrance. Zhao Tailai said with a serious face, then put away the Phoenix God blade and disappeared in the direction of the entrance. Qin Feiyang also waved his hand and led Tang Hai and the inner demons into the Black Tortoise realm. Tang Hai hesitated for a moment, then looked at Qin Feiyang and said, I have a question for you. What is it? Qin Feiyang was suspicious. Tang Hai said, Did you use the slave seal to control Zhao Tailai? No. Qin Feiyang shook his head. No. Tang Hai was surprised and said, Then you're not worried about giving the Phoenix God blade to him? Don't use people you don't trust. Qin Feiyang smiled faintly. Tang Hai asked, then will you use the slave seal to control me? Yes. Because you're more dangerous than anyone else. Most importantly, I don't know you at all. I can't keep a hidden danger by my side. Qin Feiyang said. Understood. Tang Hai nodded, grabbed the dagger, and stabbed it into his lower abdomen. His sea of qi was immediately destroyed. Inner demon immediately laughed and said, "Did you see that? What a straightforward and honest person. The more I look at him, the more I like him. Then you can elope with him." Qin Feiyang said. Elope? The inner demons was stunned and said angrily, "Do you know how to speak human language? Don't you like him? I'm fulfilling your wish." Qin Feiyang said. Get lost. The inner demons glared at him, then suddenly rolled his eyes and said with a smirk, "Boy, you're very arrogant, aren't you? What do you want to do?" Qin Feiyang immediately became vigilant. "I'm not interested in you. Why should I be so vigilant? However, I'm very interested in the mermaid princess and Lin Yi. When I find them in the future, I will elope with them in front of you. By the way, I will kidnap Wang Yu, and let you die alone." The inner demons smiled sneakily, looking extremely wretched. Qin Feiyang was taken aback, and his veins suddenly jumped. But before he could speak, the inner demons slipped into his inner world. What a bastard. Qin Feiyang shook his head and scolded with a smile. Tang Hai asked with a strange look, "Is he really your inner demons?" "It's the real deal." Qin Feiyang nodded. "He actually gets along so well with the inner demons," Tang Hai murmured. This kid was truly an oddball. Qin Feiyang gathered his thoughts and formed a seal with both hands. The seal of slavery appeared and disappeared into Tang Hai's head. After controlling Tang Hai's soul, Qin Feiyang took out the heart of origin and removed the devil's seal on Tang Hai. It really works. Tang Hai lowered his head and witnessed the entire process of the devil's seal disappearing. At this moment, his eyes couldn't help but become misty. How many years, how much bitterness. Now, he finally got rid of the damn seal. Qin Feiyang did not disturb Tang Hai and stood aside silently. Chapter 1700. A moment later. Tang Hai finally calmed down, and his eyes were as still as a pool of water. Qin Feiyang landed on the ground with Tang Hai and said, "Take the spirit sea pill and get ready to break through." Tang Hai nodded, took out a spirit sea pill, threw it into his mouth, and sat cross-legged on the ground. Roar. At this moment, a beast roar was heard. When Qin Feiyang turned his head to look, he saw a golden beast flying over from the distance like a bolt of lightning. That's right. It was the golden leopard that Zhao Tailai had subdued. Qin Feiyang smiled and said, "Long time no see. Do we know each other?" The golden leopard raised its arrogant head and said coldly. "Ah." Qin Feiyang was stunned. The golden leopard swooped down and landed beside the two of them. It glanced at Tang Hai, then looked at Qin Feiyang and said with a smile, "It's just a joke. Don't take it seriously." A joke? Qin Feiyang was speechless. "Well, can you help me get rid of the devil mark?" The golden leopard grinned and its eyes were full of flattery. "No." Qin Feiyang shook his head. The golden leopard was stunned and hurriedly said, "Didn't Zhao Tailai say that you would help me?" "That's what he said, not me." "Go find him." Qin Feiyang said lightly. "Zhao, you lied to me. I'm not done with you. Where are you hiding? Come out and die." The golden leopard roared fiercely. Qin Feiyang looked on coldly. "Where is Zhao Tailai?" The golden leopard looked at Qin Feiyang and asked. "I don't know." Qin Feiyang shook his head. The golden leopard raised its eyebrows and said, "Didn't he go out to help you just now? How can you not know?" "I don't know, I don't know." Qin Feiyang shrugged. Bastard. The golden leopard was furious. Qin Feiyang suddenly smiled and said, I was just joking with you, don't take it seriously. A joke? The corner of the golden leopard's mouth twitched, and it said angrily, how can you joke about such things? Don't you like to joke? Then I'll definitely give you face and play with you. Qin Feiyang said. The golden divine leopard teased, I didn't expect you to be so vengeful. Yes. I'm a very vengeful person. So, in the future, don't fall into my hands. In short. Since you've already chosen to follow old Zhao, then you have to do your part and fulfill your duty. Qin Feiyang said. This is between me and old Zhao. What does it have to do with you? What a busybody. The golden leopard said unhappily. Qin Feiyang raised his eyebrows and said, Zhao Tai is one of my people. Do you think it has anything to do with me? All right. I promise that I will wholeheartedly assist Zhao Tai in maintaining world peace in the future. The golden divine leopard waved its claws and said impatiently. Maintaining world peace? Qin Feiyang's face twitched. This guy really knew how to talk nonsense. He didn't say anything else. He took out the Heart of Origin and helped the golden divine leopard remove the demon mark. What is this? Why is it such a divine artifact? The golden divine leopard looked at the Heart of Origin curiously. It's none of your business. Qin Feiyang waved his hand, and the Heart of Origin entered his glabella and went straight into his sea of consciousness. If you don't want to say it, then don't say it. What's the big deal? The golden divine leopard pursed its lips and asked, can you tell me where Zhao Tai is now? Qin Feiyang said, he's at the entrance of the ancient world. The golden divine leopard's eyes lit up, and it urged, hurry up and send me out. I've never been outside before. Qin Feiyang said, answer me first. Can the hearts of pseudo-god divine beasts also remove the demon mark? The golden divine leopard was stunned and asked suspiciously, who told you that? That's complete nonsense. Nonsense? Qin Feiyang frowned. Think about it yourself. We are also controlled by the demon mark. How can we use our hearts to remove the demon mark? The golden divine leopard said. Is the mysterious man lying to me? Qin Feiyang muttered. He looked at the golden divine leopard and asked, then why does the python forbid anyone from harming pseudo-god divine beasts like you? This, the golden divine leopard stammered. Speak. Qin Feiyang shouted. Alas. The golden divine leopard sighed and said, we used to be the subordinates of the python. It forbade humans to hunt us in order to protect us. You are the subordinates of the python? Qin Feiyang was surprised. Yes. The golden divine leopard nodded. Qin Feiyang asked suspiciously, then why didn't it let you kill me when I went against it? Even it was no match for you, let alone us. If it let us kill you, wouldn't it be sending us to our deaths in vain? The golden divine leopard said. That's true. Qin Feiyang smiled. You're not modest at all. The golden divine leopard pouted. It's the truth. Why should I be modest? Qin Feiyang chuckled and asked, in other words, all the divine beasts in the black tortoise world used to be its subordinates. Yes. The golden divine leopard nodded. That old thing is indeed lying to me. Qin Feiyang muttered. Old thing? Who is it? The golden divine leopard asked curiously. Qin Feiyang said, the sealed divine artifact in the soul-sealing valley. It looked for you? The golden divine leopard was surprised. You know about it too? Qin Feiyang was suspicious. I've heard of it. According to the python, it used to be a great demon. Countless creatures died in its hands. It's a very terrifying existence. The golden divine leopard said. Qin Feiyang said, then do you know why it was sealed in the soul-sealing valley? I think it's because it offended its creator. I'm not sure about the specific reason. However, you have to be careful. If this demon breaks the seal, I'm afraid we'll all be finished. The golden divine leopard said. I know that this guy doesn't have good intentions, so I haven't let it out. Qin Feiyang said. The golden divine leopard said, it's best to seal it there forever. Qin Feiyang nodded. Are you done? If you're done, send me out. It wasn't easy to get rid of the python. I have to go and have some fun. The golden divine leopard laughed. There's nothing in the ancient world. How are you going to have fun? Qin Feiyang rolled his eyes and said, the entrance to the ancient world is in the southeast. I'll warn you again. Don't go against me. The ancient city they were in was in the northwest, so the entrance was naturally in the southeast. Relax, relax. The golden divine leopard waved its claws and said. Qin Feiyang waved his hand, and the golden divine leopard disappeared. Not long after, Tang Hai opened his eyes. His aura had already recovered to its peak state. Boom! What followed was a breakthrough. A phenomenon occurred, and heaven and earth rumbled. Not long after, Tang Hai successfully stepped into the war god realm. Is this the power of the war god? Feeling the surging power in his body that was many times stronger than before, Tang Hai couldn't help but feel excited. Congratulations. Qin Feiyang smiled. Tang Hai looked at Qin Feiyang, restrained his aura, knelt on one knee on the ground, and said respectfully, Tang Hai greets young master. Get up. There's a rule here. Qin Feiyang said. What rule? Tang Hai got up and looked at him suspiciously. Qin Feiyang said, after breaking through to the war god realm, you can subdue a divine beast as a mount. The divine leopard from before is Zhao Tailai's seat. Mount, Tang Hai murmured, and said, young master, if I really have to choose a mount, I will choose Yu Huang. Yu Huang? Qin Feiyang was stunned. Yes. Young master doesn't know, but I cultivate a divine art called the Nether God art. This Nether God art may not be as good as your Dragon God art, but it's not something an ordinary divine art can compare to. Tang Hai said. Nether God art, Qin Feiyang pondered for a moment, and said, your strange speed is because of the Nether God art? Yes. The Nether God art can turn a person into a ghost-like existence. Even if I stand behind you and don't say anything, you won't be able to discover my existence. So, if other beasts follow me, not only will they not be able to help me, but they will also restrict me. But Yu Huang is different. It naturally has no aura. If we join forces, it will be like adding wings to a tiger. Tang Hai said. Is that so? Qin Feiyang nodded and said with a smile, I have no objection, but it depends on whether Yu Huang agrees or not. Why does it have to agree or not? Isn't it your spirit pet? Tang Hai said. It's my friend, not my spirit pet. From the beginning, I didn't use the enslavement seal to control it. Qin Feiyang said. I see. Tang Hai said. Qin Feiyang said, Yu Huang's character is extremely eccentric. It won't be easy to make it follow you willingly. I understand. This matter is not urgent. Let's take it slow. Tang Hai said. Yes. Qin Feiyang nodded and said, then, what's the grade of the dagger in your hand? Tang Hai said, it's the same grade as the divine phoenix blade. It also gave birth to a spirit? Qin Feiyang was surprised. Yes. Tang Hai nodded. No wonder it can compete with the divine phoenix blade. Qin Feiyang murmured and said with a smile, very good. With you and old Zhao, Mu Tianyang can only run for his life when he sees me in the future. Although Mu Tianyang was once the god of war, he is headstrong and arrogant. It will be difficult for him to achieve great things. Tang Hai said coldly, full of disdain in his words. Don't say that. He must be extraordinary to be able to become a strong opponent of my ancestor. When facing him, it's better to be careful. Qin Feiyang reminded. This subordinate will remember. Tang Hai bowed and said. You've been in the ancient world for a while. Do you know what's here? Qin Feiyang asked. I don't know. When the giant python brought us to the ancient world, it ordered us not to run around. So, during this year, we have been in seclusion. Tang Hai said. Qin Feiyang said, I heard from the fire python that there are many divine objects hidden here. We have to go out and take a look. Divine objects? Fire python? Tang Hai was doubtful. The fire python is the giant python's child and is also the guardian of the miracle. Qin Feiyang said. The giant python's child? Why would it tell you this? Tang Hai was surprised. Not only did it tell me about the ancient world, but it also sent me here. This is a long story. Let's go out first and look for the divine objects while we talk. Qin Feiyang said. Yes. Chapter 1701. After leaving the Black Tortoise world, Qin Feiyang took Tang Hai to search aimlessly in the ancient world. At the same time, they were also looking for traces of Mu Tianyang and his group. Everywhere they went, it was a desolate scene. Staying in such a place for too long would make people unconsciously irritated and depressed. The ancient world at night was even more creepy. There was only darkness and dead silence. So that's how it is. Hearing Qin Feiyang's explanation, Tang Hai nodded in realization. He did not expect that so many things would happen after they left the Black Tortoise world. In a flash, 3 days had passed. Early in the morning, the two flew over a mountain ridge, and their eyes suddenly lit up. Hundreds of miles ahead, there was a very large ancient city. It was even several times larger than the ancient city where Mu Tianyang and the others were hiding. The broken city walls were 50 to 60 meters high, exuding a cold aura. The streets and the buildings on both sides were also dilapidated. But even so, it could not hide its former glory. Above the city gate, one could vaguely see 3 words stained with ruins. Sealed Moon City. The two flew over the city gate like lightning, and a rotten and desolate smell immediately hit them in the face. Tang Hai glanced at the deserted city and whispered, Young master, be careful, I have an ominous feeling. I have the same feeling. Qin Feiyang said. The two were especially vigilant, landing on a street in the city one after another, and walked towards the center of the city. The houses on both sides were all in ruins. Broken walls could be seen everywhere. The street where the two were was even more silent. Clang. Suddenly, an ear-piercing metallic sound rang out in a house next to them. It was like the sound of a sword being unsheathed. Tang Hai immediately looked at the house, and a shocking cold light flashed in his eyes. Don't be impulsive. Qin Feiyang hurriedly said. But he was still a step too late. As he spoke, Tang Hai took a step forward and flew into the house. The inside of the house was also extremely dilapidated. The furniture was already rotten and covered with cobwebs. However, scanning the entire house, Tang Hai did not find anything suspicious. The metallic sound that suddenly sounded before did not appear again. After looking for a while, Tang Hai left the house without saying a word and returned to Qin Feiyang's side, shaking his head at Qin Feiyang. It seems that there is indeed something unknown in this city. Qin Feiyang's eyes flashed slightly and continued to move forward. Clang. After walking for about a dozen miles, the familiar metallic sound once again rang out from a house on the side of the street without any warning. Tang Hai immediately teleported and rushed into the house. However, still did not find anything. This strange situation made the two more vigilant. Next, every once in a while, the sound would again. However, no matter how fast Qin Feiyang and his companion were, they couldn't find the source of the sound. It was like a ghost haunting it. About an hour passed. Finally, The Tang Yi and Tanga A, Tang Palaces. The palace was over 1,000 feet tall and had a total of over a dozen floors. It covered an area of about half a mile. The walls were riddled with holes and looked extremely dilapidated. Clang. However, just as the Tang Yi and Tang Yi were about to enter the main hall, the familiar sound sounded again. And it came from the main hall in front of them. A cold light flashed in Tang Hai's eyes. His divine power rolled out and rushed toward the main hall. But at the same time, a sword chi swept out from the main hall. It was so sharp that it actually wiped out Tang Hai's divine power and slashed toward Qin Feiyang and Tang Hai. Qin Feiyang was surprised. Tang Hai was now the god of war. Even his divine power could be wiped out. One could imagine how terrifying this sword chi was. He immediately soared into the sky and looked down at the main hall. His brows were tightly knitted together. Tang Hai was also quite surprised. After coming back to his senses, he immediately waved his hand. Divine power roared out and blasted toward the sword chi. With a loud bang, an apocalyptic wave of energy surged out in all directions. In just a moment, the entire ancient city was razed to the ground. Billowing dust and smoke covered the sky. At the same time, Tang Hai was forced to take a few steps back. His eyes were extremely fierce. As he waved his hand, a gust of wind rose and the dust dissipated. Immediately, Tang Hai and Qin Feiyang were stunned. The main hall in front of them was still there. One had to know. The collision between divine power and sword chi destroyed the entire castle in an instant. The main hall should have been the first to be destroyed. But now, it was still standing in front of them. Above the main hall, there were wisps of sword chi, forming a boundary. It was this boundary that protected the main hall. Don't play tricks. Get out here. Tang Hai shouted. The black dagger appeared. Divine power surged into the dagger and the dagger glowed with black divine light. Streaks of world-destroying sharpness turned into a huge wave, surging toward the main hall from all directions. Clang. But at the same time, a wave of sword chi also surged out of the main hall. The sword chi and the light met again. Boom. The earth shattered and the void collapsed. This time, Tang Hai was forced to take a few steps back. His face was faintly pale. What the hell is inside? High up in the sky, Qin Feiyang's brows furrowed even more. The reason why he said it was something was because he did not sense the aura of humans or beasts in the main hall. The Netherworld sword. After suffering one loss after another, Tang Hai was really angry. He waved his big hand. With a roar of divine power, a pitch-black giant sword appeared in the air. The huge sword was more than 10,000 feet long. It was surrounded by black flames and had a destructive edge. This was a divine art. Destroy. With Tang Hai's shout, the Netherworld sword slashed toward the main hall. Clang. Another terrifying sword chi surged out of the main hall and rushed toward the Netherworld sword. Boom. The two were in a stalemate in the void. I want to see what kind of monster you are. Tang Hai's eyes flashed with killing intent. The dagger in his hand flew out and blasted toward the sword chi. Under the dual bombardment of the Netherworld sword and the dagger, the sword chi was instantly annihilated. Then, the Netherworld sword and the dagger blasted toward the main hall. Accompanied by an earth-shattering loud noise, the main hall was smashed into pieces. At that moment, a black broadsword appeared in front of Qin Feiyang and Tang Hai. The broadsword was suspended in the air. It was 3 feet long and 5 fingers wide. A divine artifact? The two were stunned. It was unbelievable. All this time, it was actually a divine artifact that was causing trouble in the dark. Wait. Suddenly, the two looked at the body of the broadsword. They found that the broadsword was actually incomplete. On the blade, not only were there more than a dozen wide openings, but there were also a few clear cracks on the body of the sword. It gave people the feeling that with a little force, the broadsword would be torn apart. Such a divine artifact was already considered a scrap. But at this moment, it could actually release such a terrifying sword chi? Furthermore, he didn't see anyone around. If there was no one, how could the broadsword show a state of recovery? Could it be, was it self-recovery? How dare you play tricks in front of me? See how I destroy you. Tang Hai glanced at the broadsword, and a cold light suddenly burst out from his eyes. The netherworld sword and the dagger shattered the sky and slashed toward the broadsword. Clang! The broadsword trembled in the void and turned around to escape. Swish! But at the same time, Qin Feiyang used the move formula and stood in front of it. Clang! The broadsword did not retreat and directly slashed toward Qin Feiyang. The sharpness was extremely terrifying. You have guts to dare to attack me. It seems that a fake god like me can't enter your eyes. Qin Feiyang smiled coldly, took out the ancient castle, and faced it like a brick. Clang! Suddenly, sparks flew everywhere. The broadsword was torn apart immediately. At the same time, within the broadsword, there was a wail like that of a ghost. Qin Feiyang was stunned. Tang Hai's eyes were also full of surprise. Why was there a wail? Just as the two of them were stunned, a black light swept out from a fragment and fled into the distance without looking back. What is that? Is it an artifact spirit? Qin Feiyang looked at the black light, his eyes full of surprise. Tang Hai also came back to his senses. His figure flickered, and in a few breaths, he caught up with the black light with the dagger and the netherworld sword. Divine power surged and turned into a cage, imprisoning the black light inside. Boom! The black light frantically bombarded the cage. The cage was distorted. Seeing that it was about to break, Tang Hai controlled the netherworld sword and the dagger, and said, "If you dare to move again, I will destroy your soul." The black light immediately became obedient, floating in the cage, constantly trembling. It seemed to be trembling because of fear. Qin Feiyang put away the ancient castle and rushed to Tang Hai's side. Looking at the black light, his brows furrowed. Tang Hai said, "Young master, it should be the artifact spirit of that artifact." No. Qin Feiyang shook his head. What do you mean? Tang Hai was stunned and looked at Qin Feiyang suspiciously. Qin Feiyang pondered and said, "Its aura is somewhat familiar." Familiar? Tang Hai frowned. Suddenly, Qin Feiyang's eyes trembled and said, "It's an undead." Undead? Tang Hai was shocked. Yes. The aura it emits is exactly the same as the undead in the desert of the Undead Mountain Range. Qin Feiyang said. Undead? Tang Hai looked up at the black light, his eyes full of disbelief. Qin Feiyang walked to the front of the cage, looked at the undead inside, and said, "I will ask you a few questions. As long as you answer me honestly, I will let you live." The undead seemed to understand Qin Feiyang's words and turned into a blurry black shadow. Although the appearance could not be seen clearly, from the outline, it should be a woman. Because the outline of its waist was very slender. There were also 2 bulges on its chest. Qin Feiyang said, "After we entered the city, you repeatedly made sounds. Are you warning us not to approach this hall?" The undead was silent for a while and nodded. "Why did you stop us?" "In the hall, there doesn't seem to be anything that interests us," Qin Feiyang said. Hearing this, the undead did not have any reaction. "Speak!" Tang Hai shouted, full of murderous intent. But the undead was still indifferent. "You're courting death." Tang Hai waved his hand, and the sword and dagger suddenly fell. "Don't do it first." Chapter 1702. Tang Hai hurriedly waved his hand. The netherworld sword and dagger immediately stopped, looking at Qin Feiyang in confusion. Qin Feiyang smiled and looked at the undead. Let's talk in another way. Are you guarding something here? Guarding? Tang Hai was surprised and looked at the undead suspiciously. But the undead still didn't respond. Qin Feiyang said, Don't worry, I'm a man of my word. As long as you're willing to tell me, I'll let you go right away. The undead didn't move. Qin Feiyang didn't rush it and just silently looked at it. A moment later, the undead finally nodded. Qin Feiyang was secretly happy and asked, What are you guarding? The undead pointed at the hall. Qin Feiyang hurriedly turned around to look. The hall was already shattered, and there was nothing left. Wait a minute. Suddenly, Qin Feiyang glanced at the broken ground. Could it be, the thing it was guarding was underground? Thinking of this, he immediately said, Tang Hai, quickly use your inner sight to search the underground. Tang Hai was surprised, then released his inner sight and rushed into the ground. Soon, there was a hint of surprise in his eyes. Qin Feiyang asked, Did you find something? Yes, there's a secret room underground. In the secret room, there's a broken skeleton. Next to the skeleton is a Qiankuan bag and a rusty axe, Tang Hai said. Qin Feiyang looked at the undead and asked, Is this what you're guarding? The undead nodded. Qin Feiyang asked, Why are you guarding these things? Is it related to you? The undead was silent for a while, then nodded again. It's really related? Qin Feiyang was surprised, then suddenly thought of something and asked in surprise, Could it be that the skeleton in the secret room is you? The undead nodded. No wonder you wanted to drive us away, so you didn't want us to destroy your body. Don't worry, we won't destroy your body. I'll keep my word and let you go. Qin Feiyang smiled at the undead, then turned to Tang Hai and said, Let's go down. Tang Hai nodded. Divine power gushed out from his body as he brought Qin Feiyang straight underground. The cage that trapped the undead also dissipated. The undead immediately turned into a black shadow and rushed out of the city. At the same time, from the north, two silhouettes streaked across the sky like lightning. It was an old man and a young boy. The old man was in his 60s and his hair was mottled with white spots. He held a walking stick in his hand and his body was stooped. He wore black linen clothes and his aura was unfathomable. The younger one was a young man about 20 years old. He was about 1.8 meters tall and was also wearing a black linen robe. His black hair fluttered in the wind, and his eyes were as cold as a sharp blade. The aura of the young man was extremely terrifying too. What about the city? The young man came to the outside of the ancient city. When he saw the destroyed city, his eyes were full of surprise. The old man scanned the void and said in a deep voice, There are still obvious battle fluctuations here. It seems that someone has beaten us to it. Bastard. The young man was flustered and exasperated. His eyebrows were full of hostility. Suddenly, at a certain spot in the void, he caught sight of a black shadow. That's right. It was the undead. The young man hurriedly pointed at the undead and shouted, Second Grandpa, it's her. The black-clothed old man's eyes flashed. He took a step forward as if he had teleported. In a few breaths, he stood in front of the undead. Seeing the black-clothed old man, the undead was obviously a little panicked and quickly turned around to flee. Humph. The black-clothed old man snorted coldly. The walking stick in his hand stamped on the void, and a terrifying divine power suddenly rushed toward the undead. Second Grandpa, don't kill her. The young man hurriedly flew over. The black-clothed old man waved his hand, and the divine power immediately turned into a cage of more than 100 feet, imprisoning the undead. Then he looked at the young man who flew away and asked, Why don't you kill her? The young man landed beside the black-clothed old man and said with a sinister smile, 3 days ago, I almost died in her hands. How can I let her die so easily? The black-clothed old man nodded, and the cage quickly shrank. Finally, The cage shrank to the size of a palm. The undead was trapped inside just like that. The young man stepped forward, grabbed the cage, and sneered, "When I get the treasures you left behind, I'll take care of you slowly." Finished. He looked at the black-clothed old man and urged, "Second grandpa, let's hurry up. Don't let others beat us to it. Lead the way." The black-clothed old man said. The young man immediately led the black-clothed old man to the location of the main hall. Back to Qin Feiyang and Tang Hai. At this moment, the two were standing in front of a stone door. The stone door was 3 meters high and 1.5 meters wide, exuding a strong and ancient aura. The secret room that Tang Hai had explored before was behind this stone door. Tang Hai took out a black dagger and slashed at the stone door. Crack. The stone door was directly split into 2 halves. Everything inside immediately appeared in front of the two of them. The secret room was about 10 feet long. The skeleton was sitting cross-legged in the center of the secret room. On the ground beside it, there was a chinkuan bag and an axe. The axe, as Tang Hai said, was indeed rusty. Qin Feiyang was about to enter the secret room. But Tang Hai suddenly reached out to stop him. Qin Feiyang looked at Tang Hai suspiciously. Tang Hai, however, glanced at the secret room warily, then entered the secret room and carefully checked it. After confirming that there was no danger, he nodded to Qin Feiyang. "This person is quite careful." Qin Feiyang muttered, entered the secret room, and went straight to the skeleton. The skeleton was missing an arm. Several bones on its back were also broken. Obviously, the skeleton was seriously injured before it died. Qin Feiyang carefully looked at the skeleton's sternum and pelvis, and nodded, "This is indeed the skeleton of a woman. It seems that the undead did not lie to us, but who injured her?" The skeleton of a woman and a man were different in some places, and it was easy to distinguish. It doesn't matter who injured her. What's important is the chinkuan bag and this axe. Tang Hai said, grabbing the chinkuan bag with one hand and the axe with the other. The axe was very small, about the size of an adult's palm. There was a skull on the handle. The whole axe was covered with a layer of rust, and there was no aura, nor any sharpness. It looked like an ordinary axe with rust. Qin Feiyang looked at the skeleton again, walked to Tang Hai, and said, "Let me see." Tang Hai handed the axe to Qin Feiyang. Qin Feiyang grabbed the axe, carefully observed it for a while, and gently flicked the blade with his fingers. Immediately, Qin Feiyang's face was full of horror. With such a gentle flick, his finger was cut by the axe blade. Buzz. Clang. And at the same time, the axe blade trembled, vibrating with an extremely deep, metallic sound without any impurities. This sound, Tang Hai stared at the axe and Qin Feiyang's bleeding finger, his eyes full of surprise. One had to know. Qin Feiyang had the body of a pseudo-god. And it had been tempered by the essence of the divine flesh. The strength of his physical body could be said to be far beyond that of other pseudo-gods. Ordinary weapons could not hurt him at all. Not to mention, such a rusty axe. It was rusty, but it could still hurt Qin Feiyang. What did this mean? It meant this was not an ordinary axe at all. Whoosh! Just when the two of them were surprised, accompanied by the sound of breaking air, 2 figures rushed into the secret room. It was the young man and the old man in black. Qin Feiyang and Tang Hai came back to their senses and looked up at the two. When they saw the imprisoned dead spirit in the young man's hands, their pupils suddenly shrank. They had personally experienced the strength of the dead spirit, which was comparable to a god of war, but it was actually captured by these two people. Qin Feiyang could see through the young man's cultivation at a glance. 9-star combat emperor at the peak realm. But Qin Feiyang could not see through the old man in black's cultivation. Tang Hai said telepathically, "I can't see through his cultivation either." What? Qin Feiyang's gaze trembled. Even Tang Hai could not see through it. Could it be that this old man was a god of war at the initial stage? The young man and the old man in black were also sizing up Qin Feiyang and Tang Hai at the same time. These two people are not simple. That young man has a pseudo-god, and the masked man is a god of war at the initial stage. The most important thing is that I have never seen them before. The old man in black said to himself. Pseudo-god, initial stage god of war, the young man murmured with a hint of disdain in his eyes. He looked at Qin Feiyang and Tang Hai and shouted, "Who are you? How dare you steal this young master's treasure?" "Your treasure?" Qin Feiyang looked at the young man in a daze and said suspiciously, "Isn't this the dead spirit's? How did it become yours?" "If I say it's mine, then it's mine," the young man said proudly. "So that's how it is." Qin Feiyang suddenly smiled. He thought, this young man and old man might have some relationship with the dead spirit. But in the end, he was thinking too much. The young man was simply trying to snatch it by force. Qin Feiyang turned his gaze and looked at the old man in black. He cupped his hands and said with a smile, "Senior, we are all reasonable people. Everything should be based on first come, first served. This young master has long had his eyes on the things here. Now tell this young master, who came first and who came later?" The young man said. Qin Feiyang looked at the young man and said faintly, "There seems to be a difference between having your eyes on it and getting it." "What? Are you really going to take it for yourself in front of this young master?" The young man's eyes were cold, and he looked at Qin Feiyang playfully and asked. Qin Feiyang's eyes flashed with a murderous intent. He looked at the old man in black and said with a smile, "Senior, is that what you mean? Who are you? Which force do you belong to? Why haven't this old man seen you before?" The old man in black didn't answer but asked instead. "Which force?" Qin Feiyang and Tang Hai looked at each other. What did he mean? Were there many people in this ancient world? Seeing Qin Feiyang and Tang Hai didn't speak for a long time, the old man in black raised his eyebrows slightly and shouted, "Speak." At the same time, divine power emerged and rushed toward Qin Feiyang and Tang Hai. "Give an inch and you want a mile." Tang Hai secretly snorted and disappeared in an instant. The next moment, he appeared in front of the young man. His big hand was like an eagle's claw, and he grabbed the young man's neck. "What? So fast?" The old man in black changed his expression. "You're tuning into the Biyao's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.